Welcome everyone, and yes, you have seen correctly. You have seen correctly. That was a lot of clickbait, because I thought, yeah, why not? And it took me about half an hour to find a picture that I could use. That's not too much. But give me a second. I have to take a look if I'm banned. Not on Twitch. Apparently not on Rumble. Okay. Yeah, everything seems fine. We aren't banned. That's good. You never know. You never know. You get banned for the dumbest shit. What game were you? Oh wait, we were talking about. Give me a second. Race Driver Grid. Never heard of that. Is it on Steam? Now, to be fair, I'm not really a car person. I literally. I'm one of those. I'm basically a woman when it comes to cars. I can drive them, right? But I'm even when it comes to technicalities, a half decent driver, or I was. I haven't driven a car in 10 years, at least. Yeah. And man, filling the tank with gas already is something that I'm getting completely overwhelmed, because I've done that maybe 5 times in my entire life, and I'm 43. So yeah, not the car guy, computer guy, but not a car guy. You think it was okay? Yeah, I can look into that. If it's good, it's good. I've seen a trailer for a new racing game where basically the main focus is crashing cars. And, you know, that reminds me of a good old game that I had on PS1. It was, how was it called? Destruction Derby, I think. You don't drive in real life, but you love racing games? Yeah. I can see why. Racing games are way more fun because you can just, you know, race. You can just drive as fast as you want, no consequences. Unlike in real life. Man. Oh. You wanna... While we at it. How about a real life story about my only car accident that I have had? So, I was parking at a female friend's house, right? I was driving forward, and I hit the oh, how's it called? The drain that comes from the drainage where it drains from the roof, you know, that pipe, and I hit that. Now, why did I hit that? Because I wasn't focused on driving. I listened to what she was talking about. One of the biggest mistakes in my life. I will never do that again. Because listening to women, there's never anything good coming out of that. Because they're just talking, and it's nothing important or interesting anyway, so why listen, right? Yeah. The story of the only car crash I ever had. Now, I had a couple of almost crashes. Because sometimes I, you know, didn't see people coming, and I took took their right of way away. Not good. Not good. Absolutely not. But yeah. But I was... fun fact, you know, the theoretical exam for driving, right? I failed that twice. That I failed twice, right? But my driving exam, I passed without any problems. Any. Which isn't hard. I mean, driving a car is easier than, you know, learning for an exam. But yeah, it is what it is, right? Man, I was so stupid. And the thing is, here in Germany, at least back in the day, when you fail 3 times the theoretical exam, you have to wait, I think, half a year until you can take another one. Cars is such a hassle to maintain IRL. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's where mechanics are there for, right? Man. Yeah. It's not even that I don't like cars, it's just like... modern cars are so... Number one, they all look the same. Because they are all owned by the same investment companies. Fun fact. So, and yeah. They're so full of electronics that... why? They just make everything more complicated. Especially if you have... if you wanna do anything in your car and you have to use a touch screen. Oh, you can't use your phone when you are driving, but hey, here's a touch screen for your AC. And then you have to go through menus. And... yeah, no. No. They actually tested that. They tested, how long does it take for a person to, you know, do certain tasks in their car. With old cars and with new cars. And with old cars, it blew the new ones out of the way. Oh my god. It's so much faster doing things. You know, turning on the AC, doing something on the, you know, the radio, or whatever. Way faster with, you know, if you have knobs. When everything is mechanical, it's always easier. Because, you know, if it's electronic and you have to go through 10 menus to get to the thing where you want to go, yeah, that's bad design. And that's how you know these things aren't designed by car designers. Because an engineer that has experience making cars, that they would never design something like that. Because that shit is dangerous. I hate it. Oh, have you seen that in America a lot of people destroying vlog cams? Which is great. It's awesome. By the way, all the surveillance, right? That the right ones. That's literally what the communists did and in China still do. They control every aspect of life. They surveil you every time. Back in East Germany, you had literally spouses spy on each other. Parents spy on the children, children spy on their parents, teachers spying on their pupils, pupils spying on the teachers, everyone spying on everyone. It's disgusting. And of course, you know, if you are spying on everyone, then you are expecting to be spied on too, right? So, no one is trusting anyone. And that's how you destroy society. Man, fun times, right? We started with, hey, who likes tits? And oh yeah, we are living in hell. Should I bring up the tits again? Maybe I should bring up tits. Oh, while we are talking about tits. Smokalana. They're just crazy? What is he talking about? What is the mister here talking about? Let's take a look. While they're at it.
After Republican victories in 2024, a lot of folks in the Democratic Party talking about, defund the police, prison abolition, getting rid of cash bail, all positions that you supported. Do you still stand by that yourself?
I think there are some of those positions that are really good.
Wow, they're just crazy.
After Republican victories in
Okay, that was a nothing burger. But yes, that is crazy. Absolutely crazy. And my recommendations are really all over the place, aren't they? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Oh. How about... Yeah. We are doing a thing now. We are watching this one. The Bao VTuber situation is worse than you think. Oh. How about we do that? How about some VTuber drama? We didn't had a video like that in about 20 seconds. So let's do this. Let's do this.
Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the recent Bao situation, and I have made countless videos for many years about various drama-related content, and I know a controversial topic when I see one, and that's exactly what we're covering in this video. So not only are we talking about how people are right now criticizing Bao, but also there is a general discussion going on once again about what it means to be a VTuber. When do you post too much real-life content? When it comes to that stuff, there's really only three camps. There's one camp that is very purist. They don't want to see any IRL content from a VTuber. They say this is a virtual YouTuber. That's all I want to see. Then there's another camp that doesn't care, right? They don't care how much real-life content you post. It doesn't bother them at all. Then there's a third camp, which personally I fall into, that is a little bit in the middle somewhere, right? Where a little bit of IRL content doesn't really bother them. But when it gets to a point where it's the primary source of your content, it feels a bit weird to keep calling yourself a VTuber. And
he's right there. And one reason why VTubing generally came up is so people don't want to show their face because, that can be dangerous. I mean, if I say something, that people here in Germany don't like, especially the left, and I walk down the street, I can get attacked because they know my face. That's dangerous. That's the reason.
And that's exactly what's happening with Bao, because for months, all she's been posting is real life content with no mention of VTubing.
For months? Did he say for months?
Been posting is real life content. It feels a bit weird to keep calling yourself a VTuber. And that's exactly what's happening with Bao, because for months, all she's been posting is real life content.
Okay, yeah, then she isn't a VTuber anymore. Yeah, that train has passed. Absolutely.
With no mention of VTubing whatsoever, while at the time still labeling herself as a VTuber. And that has been the big discussion over the past couple of days. And given the very poor reputation Bao has with the VTubing scene and among VTuber fans right now for reasons I'll get into in just a second, she has become a lightning rod for this conversation where many people believe that she essentially coasted off of VTubing to build an audience and then try to transfer that over to real life content where she's...
Yeah, that's completely fine. Now, the only people that get angry at that are retarded people that have an unhealthy obsession And that's it. They have an unhealthy obsession here. Oh, how can you say that? Because they're getting angry because someone changes the content they create. Oh, I never wanted to see your face. Well, she's doing kind of things like that for years already. So if you by now have been like, oh yeah, she's a VTuber. Oh, look at her avatar. Look at her model. Oh, it's so cute. Oh, I wanna cloud it. But then you also watch her cooking, which is IRL. What are you doing? Are you stupid? Well, yes, you are. But I'm also completely crazy. Most likely, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I'm watching VTubers. But I only watch the most shut VTubers I can, because they're the most entertaining and most fun. And the least mentally ill. Like usual. But yeah, this entire situation is kind of retarded. May I say that?
Trying to essentially build a career in the normie face cam scene, and well, people are definitely very up in arms over what's happening right now. And you have to understand with Bao, she is very controversial among VTuber fans right now, and that has to do with controversies she has faced over the last year and a half or so. And I'm going to run through them very quickly to give you some backdrop here. Number one, a lot of people viewed her as a mean girl, and that her involvement with the whole Cinder drama was very sloppy. And also she was backing a lot of people who have been outed as hypocrites or liars in that situation. But I covered this right here, where she was making many comments people viewed as the product of misandry.
Okay, here we go. Just because I don't include every single nuance, exception, possibility, and variation doesn't mean we are not still having the same conversation. Stay safe, gang. If you're an up-and-coming female content creator with a small but growing audience, and a much larger and successful male content creator approaches you out of nowhere and showers you with attention on stream, in DMs, etc., don't walk, run. Yes. This is not even controversial. This isn't. I remember that it was basically who was it? Shibidoki, the little hamster. She also said that if you have 10 viewers, if you're a girl and you're being approached by these big, streamers and YouTubers, and they just want to plow you. And she's right. Why else would these men approach this woman? Why? There's no reason to do this so. And the thing is, if you have a genuine, if you're into, let's just say, let's say I've 2 million subscribers. I've made it. I'm super great, right? And I come across a small content creator, and oh my god, she's awesome. I'm getting a crush on her. If I would, get in contact with her, and stuff like that, I wouldn't go with, hey, can I help you with growing or stuff like that? No, I wouldn't do that at all. Because that's deceiving. I would be completely upfront. So there is no mistaking here what's going on. Because everything else is dangerous. I wouldn't want her or me to, think that there's anything else going on than me wanting to be with her. Because that's only leads to bad blood and bad situations. Now, slimy dudes would go for, hey, I've seen your content. Want me to help you grow? I can help you. You just have to send me nudes. So both Bao and Chibidoki are right here. Both are. And I completely agree with them. I don't think this is misandrous or anything like that. This is just logic. If you're being approached by someone that's way bigger than you, they want something from you. What do they want from you? That's what you have to think about. What do they want from me?
A hatred of men, where she said if you're an up-and-coming female content creator with a small audience and a much larger successful male content creator approaches you out of nowhere and showers you with attention on stream, in DMs, etc., don't walk, run. And of course, likes may be private, but thanks to useful idiots like this, their reaction to the situation was essentially revealing some of Bao's thoughts, where she liked a comment responding to her post, saying men that are crying about this are the same men that cry about us, saying we'd choose the bear. And in case you're not terminally online, here's the context of that debate. A lot of people are being asked the hypothetical. If you're a woman alone in the woods, who would you rather spend your time with? Would you spend it with a bear or a man? And a lot of people, mainly feminists, were saying they'd rather spend their time with a bear because at least the bear would just eat you and not do anything beyond that, which is
very, very stupid. And the thing why they actually believe that is because they have been told that. It's that simple. They have been told that man bad. And they've been told that their entire life. So they believe that. It's I think it was Asimov, a Russian that was talking about propaganda, and he said that, you know, they tested that. If you tell people a lie for 3 months, you always repeat it, always the same lie. People start believing that. And after that, there's nothing you can do for the people to not believe the lie. That's what's going on here. It's just propaganda. They are being told to hate men with a goal, which is the destruction of society. But going into that would be way out of, you know, this video's boundaries.
Absolutely insane, and the fact that she is siding with that sort of rhetoric was really off-putting to a lot of people. But of course, there was more to it. Facing the backlash, Bao would then mock all of her male fans, which of course rubbed people the wrong way even more.
I had a lot of strong feelings about this, and to the people that are trying to dilute what I'm saying to fit their own, like, stupid-ass anti-woman, I fucking hate, you're misandrous.
Just because I don't include every single... Okay, so why place heavy emphasis on the senders if you understand nuance? What? Oh, it's this again, yeah.
I don't care, bro. I don't care, bro. Go fix your receding hairline. You ever heard of minoxidil? Yeah, try that. All right? Don't care. Wrap it up. Okay. Hey, man, you're outing yourself. Okay?
It's mostly pirate pups and grifters, so nothing different than the past 5 months for me. Proud of Bao for talking, not happy for Twitter talking back. What? Yeah, this is kind of out of context. I don't know. Lol, we don't hate women, we just avoid terrible ones. Yes, exactly. And the sad part about that is that these days, most women are just terrible. And the thing is, I'm still, you know, a gentleman-like. Even to the ones who I would never date, never want to be friends with. Just like yesterday, literally yesterday, I was on a walk, or I bought something, I don't remember, and I was on the way home, and there was a tattooed up young woman with a stroller, you know, with a baby and coming, and I stepped into the entrance of a building to let her pass because the way was literally that small. Yeah. And guess what? She said thank you. Now, how is that? How is that? Now, all these extreme, feminists, they wouldn't say thank you. Because they're just cunts. Yeah, said it.
I didn't say anything. You did it yourself.
So as you can see from that clip, there was an attempt to gaslight her viewers into what the actual context of the backlash was, and she would continue that on social media, where one user said, just woke up, what the F is going on, because this was a huge set of drama involving Bao. And then Bao said, I said, if Harvey Weinstein invites you to a party, don't go, and it ruffled some feathers. And I even pointed out in the replies, that's not what you said. You didn't.
Well, kind of it is. It kind of is.
Not say, if you're encountering a potentially predatory individual, run away. No, she said all successful male content creators, and that rubbed people a very wrong way. Within that same week, she got into another set of drama involving the art platform Skeb, where she made this now deleted tweet basically saying that because of the platform's function, a lot of the art she was commissioning was being revealed and publicly shown before she had intended, which is not true, right? That's something she could have avoided, and she deleted this tweet before a successful note was applied to it. And Skeb itself came out and clarified at the time that during the process of commissioning art, there's 4 separate opportunities to make it clear that you don't want things revealed early. But she didn't take those opportunities and was misrepresenting what the platform functions as. Then, in response to that backlash, she essentially said she's not being canceled, she's engagement farming.
Canceled 4 times in a month, canceled 4 times in a month. Nuh-uh, guys. It's not being called canceled. It's called engagement farming. Thank you very much. Here we go again. Come on. You can't be for real. Guys, I'm so fucking dead ass. Who's actually going?
Yeah, of course, that clip rubbed people the wrong way yet again. It seems like she's kind of thumbing her nose at anyone who's upset with some of her recent comments. It looks very narcissistic and entitled. Not a good look.
Yes, but are you expecting anything else from Bao? Like I said before, I'm watching VTubers, and I've seen her stuff years ago, and I mean, a lot of it is kind of funny, but most of it is just kind of weird and even nasty, all the werewolf fucking, for example. And yes, she's one of those women that gets the horny for werewolves, and not in the human form.
And another controversy that she was involved with was the Psychono situation, where she was reposting various tweets like that of Himomo in her Google Doc, where she labeled Psychono not only as a serial cheater, which he was, but also as a dangerous predator, which he was not. That aspect of this Google Doc and the whole expose with Muujin was completely debunked, but Bao reposted that among other tweets, including ones that are now deleted, using that dangerous predator label, and this repost is still live on her account to this day. Like, she's never gone back and thought, sharing a post labeling someone as a predator maliciously with no proof, maybe I shouldn't support that, but nope, it's still up to this day. But that's just a snapshot of everything going on with her over the last year and a half or so. So you have to understand, with that backdrop, her sort of PR, her reputation among VTuber fans right now is abysmal, okay? She was someone who was very well respected for a lot of years, but also people started to turn away when she leaned way more into explicit, not safe for work content, where she is...
Oh, does she have an OnlyFans now? I bet she now has one, right? She should. I mean, the not safe for work stuff, she always was a lewd one. I mean, yeah. So I would be surprised if now she is going that route. But she shouldn't need to, because, you know, she should have enough money. She should be back in joined March 2015. Oh my god. That's 11 years ago. Oh my god. She should have enough money. She's successful.
Selling that sort of stuff on the usual websites, but that's the backdrop.
Yeah.
And for someone who's always posted some real life content, she at least used to wear a mask. It was more of a special event, but nowadays, I mean, she's just straight up face posting, right? Like, I'm not sharing anything that's hidden. She is doing this on her own volition.
Yeah.
And the response to this is diabolical. But before we get into some of the replies, she's entitled to do this, right?
Of course.
A content creator can do whatever they want, right? You can make a...
As long as it isn't TOS. You know, TOS. Yeah. Can't go against that, or you're getting banned. Or you're getting banned even you aren't TOS and just someone on the moderator side doesn't like you. Or the AI on YouTube makes a mistake, which it does all the time. And then you can't get in contact with any actual people that work at YouTube because no one is working customer support. Because that's a waste of time and money for them. Yay! Why am I on YouTube again? Oh, right, because they are the only really big player. Yeah.
Right turn with your content, however you see fit. Personally speaking, I have made some very big changes over the years to my content. I used to be a meme channel, and then I turned to commentary, nuking my entire channel and the entire library many years ago to shift into commentary because that's what I wanted to do. But you're allowed to do that, but also people are allowed to be upset about it. And yeah, people are not really feeling this sort of stuff from Bao. You can see this is just the first replies that show up. Me looking for the VTuber that this account is supposed to be. Sell your model at this point. You don't deserve to be considered a VTuber anymore. Me looking for the VTuber activity. Bao, please make a separate account for this IRL stuff. Call it Bao the Human with a handle Bao IRL or something. Stay in character. Imagine getting looks mogged by your biggest op, which of course we're getting into subjective stuff. And a lot of people are obviously being very aggressive in their replies.
Yes, because a lot of these people are mentally ill. That's why they don't have girlfriends. That's why they don't have wives. And that's why they are lusting over VTubers. And yes, that kind of includes me, because I don't have a girlfriend, I don't have wife, and I'm watching VTubers too. 43-year-old man, by the way. But, you know, I'm at least self-aware enough to know that, you know, I'm not, you know, what society wants, which isn't surprising. I'm coming from a single mother household. Yay. And yes, that's the norm.
You know, I'm Weenie Hut Jr. I guess I'm soft. I don't think you have to really get into the personal insults. I think you can focus on the actual words she has said, and also you can raise very validly the criticism that she is, at this point, still labeling herself as a VTuber, when in reality, for months, she's done nothing close to VTuber-related activities. In fact, this post went viral. It's a screen recording of her account, her media tab, where it's nothing but IRL content. 90+% is IRL content, and it seems like that is the focus she is going for. But I guess she listened to the backlash, where she then would drop the VTuber label from her profile. It's still in her tag on Twitter, her actual @, but I think changing that is a little more complicated because it would mess up your links on social media and other platforms. But yeah, she did listen, she heard something, and she dropped the tag. So it seems like that is the route she is going. She wants to go after this IRL content. And at the end of the day, whether you're in the camp 1, 2, or 3 with the whole VTuber and IRL conversation, I think she is kind of the case study of someone who got a huge amount of notoriety posting VTuber-related content, and slowly over the past year or two has primarily posted real-life content.
he isn't reading it, at least not yet. So I do, because I read that while he was talking. So I completely spaced out. This one is good. With how much Bao has been doing IRL stuff with multiple face reveals without using the avatar, she has removed her VTuber label from her profile. Now it only exists on her ad tag. After all the Cinder drama, the Skep drama and the Misandry drama recently, this might be a move to rebrand herself, as evidently the simp audience has completely fallen for her IRL appearance. Of course they would. And of course she has simps. All VTubers have simps. All of them. You can't find any VTuber that doesn't have simps. And they are the most loyal and most mentally ill people in the audience. This is why I play games and don't watch Twitch, I guess. Yeah. Too much weird drama over there. Yes. But the thing is, it's funny if you watch videos like that and can laugh about it. That's what the good stuff is. You know, we don't watch dramas on TV. We just watch drama between streamers and their communities. Or former communities and shit like that. It's so stupid. All this is literally high school and school shit, you know? This is middle school stuff.
And now it's completely shifted away. And if fans are upset about that, I think that's really valid. Right? Again, it's her choice. She is allowed to do this. But people are allowed to not like it and to call her a hypocrite for still calling herself a VTuber, but now she has dropped the label entirely. Now, of course, there's also another narrative, and I want to talk about this.
Here we go.
Where some people on Twitter are calling her a schmo. Okay, I can't say certain words on YouTube. And people are like, how dare you? That's so awful. Just being blunt, okay, she has been selling adult content for a very long time. Okay, like it's been over a year or two at this point. In fact, she has a second account called Hojo-sama, where she's selling explicit, not safe for work content. So I think that whole narrative of white knighting her as some like pure innocent person is ridiculous, right? Like she even calls herself these sorts of terms. But I also think there's a greater conversation about how she's the focus of this debate when there's other very well respected VTubers who also post a ton of IRL content but don't get the same attention. I think that's the result of Bao.
But that might be because they did that from the beginning. Like Onigiri, I basically half the stuff I've seen from Onigiri is only her avatar, you know, and then only her in the kitchen. These are the things that I know of Onigiri. So I completely don't care that she does IRL stuff. Who cares? She did it all the time.
Being such a lightning rod right now, where she is very negatively perceived by many VTuber fans. If you're not a fan of Bao, you probably don't have the best view of her right now as a VTuber fan. But I want to transition over to a clip that's gotten a lot of attention. It's from the VTuber Midas.
Oh boy.
And they talked about...
What do we have here? Because if I touch you, I'm autistic enough to end you. What? I'm kind of scared. Kind of.
This whole VTuber versus IRL debate, and I think they raised some really good points in this clip. And to be very clear here, they're not directly naming anyone, not Bao or anyone, but talking generally about their experience and how people have the right to be a little bit upset that their favorite VTuber completely departed away from VTuber-related activities and is posting nothing but real-life content.
So what I mean by that is that there were a lot of VTubers this year, medium, small, large, that were almost bragging about how little actual VTubing they do and how excited they are to start doing more flesh tubing on their VTubing stuff. And that really pissed me off. Like I'm no Puritan, but something about this off-kai forced me to really re-examine what it means to be a content creator in this space. And I think I've developed more sense of puritanicalism. As well, I did my best, but I have a story I think I want to tell you guys that kind of broke my heart a little bit. I mean, I've talked it over with the affiliated parties, but it's another reason why I don't want to go to off-kai anymore. I don't think being upset at seeing their VTubers in the flesh is something you should worry about. People deserve to be able to live their lives. That isn't what this is about. This is about people talk. What I'm upset about isn't that people want to live their lives and that people want to make content. It's the erosion of this very specific kind of type of content creation. You can flesh tube and you can do a damn good job of it and have an audience that's there for it and excited.
Of another Dino suit cameo.
But once you do that one too many times, you do genuinely muddy the definition of what it is to VTube. To VTube is to have the character, right? And too much obfuscation of that, I personally don't like that. I think that it also is a little insulting to your audience. Even the ones that really like the flesh tubing content. They came for one thing, and if you're subverting expectation too often, not even as a one-off gimmick, but just you shouldn't really be shocked when people get upset, right?
Yes.
If you're not giving people what they came for and they get upset by it, it is stupid to play dumb and act shocked that people are confused, right? And that's very different from, people should do whatever they want. If you're going to call yourself a VTuber, that's fine. But if you don't behave like a VTuber, audiences are going to notice and they're going to call you out on it.
So I think she raises some
Makes sense. Absolute sense. And hello, Emily.
really good points in that clip. I think the whole VTuber and IRL debate is a very sloppy one where people are pretty much entrenched in their own beliefs. They have a viewpoint, one of those three camps I mentioned earlier, and they're probably not going to change, but she is absolutely right. People have the right to post whatever they want as a VTuber, but fans have the right to have an issue with it when you're still labeling yourself as a VTuber while posting primarily IRL content. It seems to upset the spirits of what VTubing is supposed to be all about. On top of that, she mentions Offkai, which is probably a great or the greatest example of what's going on here, where there's not only an intense focus on adult content in the scene, but also there is this very weird, almost manipulation tactic going on with some VTubers where they seem to get off to the fact that they're essentially luring in people with VTuber models and they're getting them to become fans, and then all they do after that point is post real life photos and videos. In fact, with Offkai, not only
Really? I mean, I'm not big into VTubers, yay, but is that happening? I've no clue, but I just go all after what he says because I have to. I have no other reference, and yes, I can believe that because people are creepy. People are creepy, especially people that don't show their face. They can be very, very creepy. That's why the internet is full of creepy people.
We have the 18 plus booth at a 13 plus convention. That's a whole nother conversation. But also, most of them were just posting themselves. They weren't even using their VTuber models to do that booth and that set of content. It was just IRL posting, which if you're a even slightly purist VTuber fan, something feels a bit weird about that. You go to a VTuber convention and there's a heavy focus on 18 plus content, and that 18 plus content has nothing to do with VTubing. These people label themselves as
what? That doesn't make any sense. Now this is, yeah, okay. Now I see completely where the problem is, yeah. Completely. That should be a thing.
VTubers, but they don't do anything related to VTubing. And I think this is a great clip. You can watch the full thing if you want for yourself, but I get what she's saying. It feels a bit deceptive to call yourself a VTuber and post nothing but real life content while holding on to that masquerade that you're a VTuber. It's very strange and I think predatory in many senses. But going back to Bao, she wasn't mentioned directly by that previous VTuber, but it seems like that conversation is very applicable to what she's doing. A lot of people think that she essentially used VTubing to build a very large audience to then transition that over into what she actually wanted, which was...
That's not a problem. That's not a problem. I mean, a lot of people, you know, do one form of content and then transition to something else. And here it's just, you know, she didn't show her face before and now she does. That's fundamentally all that there is to it. The only people that really have a problem with that are the most mentally ill people that wanted to plow the whale. And not the person behind it, just the whale.
Was not only more not safe for work content, but also real life content among the sort of normie scene in the Twitch or whatever streaming scene. And well, I don't think she really has the goodwill among VTuber fans to let that slide. Again, I think she's the lightning rod for this conversation, and she's going to be the focus. And unfortunately, she only has herself to blame for that, because she's been in too many controversies in the last year and a half to really slide by with this stuff. But yeah, this is a very controversial topic, and I am not the arbiter of truth on it, okay? So I am very interested to hear what you guys have to say about this in the comment section. Please let me know what you think, because this is a very subjective and messy debate. But what do you think about it? Please let me know. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please consider liking the video, consider subscribing, and turning on notifications for daily uploads, as well as multiple streams every week live here on YouTube. But overall, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Everything he said, but for my channel. Yeah, my thoughts for the end here. Yeah, it is what it is. I really don't get those extremely mentally ill people that have a problem with her going in a different direction. Just stop watching her. There, problem solved. Your Oshi is dead. Just leave. Do something else with your life. Oh. Being reasonable and just leaving and not crashing out on social media. Can't have that. I also think that... Funny thing, the more I heard Bao talk, the less I liked her. I think it's something with her voice. I just don't like her voice. On top of, I don't find her very particularly attractive. At least not when she was in the kitchen with a mask on. You know, yeah, no. It's not my type. Absolutely not. No, not absolutely not. I would, let's say it this way, I would rather have a full Vietnamese woman instead of the part one. Okay. The end of the video. If you liked it, give it a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. And see you next time. Bye bye. And so, since Miss Emily wasn't here, no, number one wasn't here when I started streaming, and number two is on Twitch. She didn't see the thing. So I'm going to show her the thing. The thumbnail of today's stream that she didn't see. It's a good one, right? I think it's a very good one. A very, very good one. Oh boy. It took me half an hour to find something that I could use. Oh boy. So apparently we are about to get thunderstorms this weekend, and yeah, it looks bad. The sky is already cloudy the entire day. The sun is not really coming. Oh, what do I see here? Something nice. Ah, crazy eyes. Oh no. Oh no, that's gonna get me horny. Can't have that. That's from 7 years ago. Oh my god. Oh god. Oh, right. You didn't hear that. Better. That's better. Okay. So, you guys remember She-Hulk? I think it was a Netflix show. Just breathe? No. I don't breathe. I breathe through my pants. So, She-Hulk. Years ago, there was this show named She-Hulk. And no one liked it. Don't stand up. Yeah. And number one, no one liked it. It completely flopped. And of course, it was a woman strong, men weak show. And it killed careers. So how about we watch this critical drinker video about exactly that? That's going to be awesome. Hopefully. Oh, this is loading. This needs a moment. Yeah. YouTube is at its best.
Let's be
again.
honest here, we've all done things we'd rather forget. Like,
Yes.
there was this one night in Aberdeen when we were drinking pints of Advocat, and my mate Neil somehow managed to get with a midget stripper at one end and a ridiculous amounts of coleslaw. And he's like, shoot him, you idiot. Honestly thought we'd never get that whole dug, man. Wait, you're gonna edit that stuff out later, right? Okay, good. Anyway, what the hell was I talking about? Oh yeah, stuff we'd rather forget. And when it comes
Yeah.
to Marvel, there's one show in particular they'd much rather we all forgot. And that show is She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. I mean, who can blame them, really? It was an absolutely disastrous attempt at a legal comedy with feminist overtones, made by people with no understanding of the legal system, who are to comedy what the quartering is to personal integrity. But hey, at least it got those all-important feminist talking points in there, right?
Well, here's the thing, Bruce. I'm great at controlling my anger.
Oh, shut up, you tart!
I do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the scene where she said that she's angry all the time. Why? Why are you angry all the time? Oh, because men bad, men suppressing me. Oh, oppression of woman bad. Oh, yeah, the standard, you know, the standard talking points of the retarded people.
Pretty much every day, because if I don't, I will get called emotional.
You are a wally, you really are.
Or difficult, or might just literally get murdered.
You give my arse an headache.
So I'm an expert at controlling my anger because I do it.
Perfect here in chat. World of Warcraft.org goes to real life to be a lawyer. Yes, that's pretty much it. But an orc from World of Warcraft has honor. She doesn't.
It
I
infinite.
mean, she literally twerks in the office. I mean, how trashy can it get?
more than you.
Oh, shut up, you tart.
It was a show that set out to preemptively attack its own fan base for not liking it, on the genius assumption that they would dislike it for attacking its fan base, thus creating a perfect feedback loop of retarded self-destruction.
Yeah.
As it turns out though, it didn't pay off for them, and the show was so wildly unpopular that Marvel had to specifically step in and announce its cancellation.
Oh.
Oh no.
That's wild.
What happened?
It was to the MCU what The Acolyte would be to Star Wars a couple of years later,
Oh.
and it was kinda hilarious to see such a spitefully self-righteous piece of shit get tossed onto the ash heap.
Wait. No. No. There is a Portal show, and that bitch is in that? No. No, that's something Marvel. Okay, and she's presenting it, and they're just stealing the thing from Portal. Okay. Man. Oh my god, I almost died here. I almost got a heart attack. I thought that they were about to destroy Portal. Oh my god. I feel sick. Oh, I think I have to lay down. Oh my god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh no. Oh no. That's what she said.
Is to see such a spitefully self-righteous piece of shit get tossed onto the ash heap of history where it belongs. But you might be asking yourself, how the hell was this even allowed to happen? How could Marvel and Kevin Feige, who'd spent more than a decade turning the MCU into a finely tuned money-printing machine, have permitted such an embarrassing disaster to
He wasn't involved. Well, that's my guess here.
unfolds? Well, the answer came courtesy of author Daniel Friedman, who lifted the lid on the backstage conflicts, clashing egos, and insane decision-making behind She-Hulk. And because I do enjoy me a bit of Schadenfreude once in a while, let us go on this journey of discovery together, shall we?
It's Schadenfreude. I couldn't suppress my German.
To properly understand how the She-Hulk disaster started, you have to go back to 2017 with the release of the Rick and Morty episode, Pickle Rick. Remember when Rick and Morty was this smart, funny, edgy show that people liked? That was a good time, I liked that. Anyway, the lead writer on this episode was Jessica Gao, who pitched a bit of a hissy fit when showrunner Dan Harmon cast Susan Sarandon to voice the character of Dr. Wong. Because everyone knows that two Wongs don't make a right. Anyway, because this was 2017 and the entire world had lost its fucking mind when it came to this kind of stuff, she was able to browbeat Harmon into doing a podcast series.
Wait. Is she angry because they casted the wrong Asian person for the role of an Asian woman or something like that? Is the character even Asian? Might be. I actually don't know. No idea. You can't see the eyes.
Because everyone knows that two Wongs don't make a right. Anyway, because this was 2017 and the entire world had lost its fucking mind when it came to this kind of stuff, she was able to browbeat Harmon into doing a podcast series with her called Whiting Wongs. It was basically a multi-episode struggle session where Harmon had to sit there and listen to Gao bang on about the usual laundry list of late 2010s social justice grievances, and it's a pretty impressive example of how retarded the world had become by that point. This absolute nobody was able to strong-arm one of the biggest showrunners of the industry onto a podcast and berate him for hours on end just by invoking the magic R words. Awesome. Anyway, the episode...
Is it retarded? Is that the magic R word?
And the podcast put Gao on the radar, and pretty soon she came to the attention of Kevin Feige. Feige, under mounting pressure, had recently made a public commitment to involve more women in the MCU, but...
And we all know how that went, right? Chat? We all know that all of that failed. I mean, sure, the first movie with her made $1 billion, right? But that's because that was the movie right after Marvel well, the finale of the Marvel universe, where they fought Thanos. That's why that movie made so much money. The movie itself is shit. And the character's even worse. No, literally no one likes that character. Fly. Yeah. Because the character's written like a villain. Now, Gamora is cool. I have no idea who that is. I don't care about her. No matter how pretty she is, I don't care.
Both in front of and behind the camera, and Gao seemed like the perfect fit to front the new She-Hulk show that he was planning. She was a woman, she was ethnically diverse, and she'd written an award-winning episode of Rick and Morty, which even Feige vaguely understood was popular amongst humans. Great stuff. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, by the way, this scene is only in the director's cut. I think it's called director's cut of Terminator 2. It's not in the theatrical version. But this is actually played really well. I think this scene is one of the best acted scenes he ever did.
So it soon became obvious to everyone involved that Gao didn't have a fucking clue what she was doing. She'd promised to create Ally McBeal for the MCU. The only problem is, nobody on her hand-picked team of retards knew anything about lawyers, court procedures, or legal terminology, and she didn't think to hire any consultants to help them.
Oh. Okay, yes, that's what stupid people do, right? Not hiring people that know what they're talking about. Yeah, makes sense.
The result? Absolutely disastrous test screenings, forcing Kevin Feige to descend from the golden throne himself and directly intervene in the production, desperately trying to unfuck her mistakes. Naturally, the relationship with Gao soured quickly, but it was the finale that finally pushed Kevin over the edge. Gao wanted She-Hulk to break out of the show itself and confront Kevin, the giant robotic AI that runs the MCU, and demand a better ending for herself. It was a not-so-subtle dig at the formulaic, robotic nature of what the MCU had become. I mean, she wasn't wrong either. Feige...
Yeah, that's the only thing where I have to give it to her. She isn't wrong there. And that's one reason why I don't watch... I think the MCU is the main reason why I don't watch superheroes anymore. Superhero movies. Jesus. They're all the same. Literally, they're all the same. They're just boring. They're so boring. I rather go and watch Superman from the 70s than modern superhero movies. I'd rather go and watch the Batman movies from the 80s and 90s than modern superhero movies. They are so overblown with CGI and... Oh, yeah, no, just no. I don't want that shit. And the movies also are way too long. I don't want a 3-hour movie about, oh yeah, we are beating the bad guy's dick off. Why can't you do that in 90 minutes? Oh, we have to have all this character development. This is a grand story that fits in with 20 other movies. How about no? How about no? How about you just make a good movie? But they can't do that because that's not making enough money. Great.
He was willing to be a good sport and take the hit, but that wasn't enough for Gao. She wanted to put a baseball cap on the robot to really drive the point home. A cap just like the one that Feige always wears because he's a baldman, and a hat lets him pretend that he's still got hair or something. This apparently was a bridge too far for old Kevin though, who refused to let her do it, and the feud escalated to the point where Gao actually handed in her resignation in what I can only describe as the worst case of attempted big leaguing I've ever seen. And Kevin was like, fine, see you later then, bitch.
Good.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Yeah.
Let's see if it pays off for him.
Fucking Christ, these are grown adults we're talking about here, willing to kill careers over a baseball cap.
They're stupid.
Truly, if you play social justice games, you win social justice prizes. And the only prize Kevin had won with this one was a gigantic pain in the arse. Anyway, disaster was only averted when a special effects designer managed to put a piece of metal on the robot that looked vaguely like a hat, thus satisfying the honour of both sides. For Gao, though, it was only a temporary reprieve, and once the show actually came out and people saw it for the disaster it was pretty obvious it was headed for one place. Fucking cancellation. I mean, you have to imagine Kevin killed this one with a certain degree of relish, considering how much of a pain in the arse Gao had been for him. What's interesting, though, is that Jessica Gao hasn't produced a single thing in the past 4 years. No movies, no TV shows, not even a web series. She's basically vanished into obscurity, completely blacklisted by the entire industry.
Oh boy. Oh boy. So she had a happy end, after all.
And well, I can't help but think that the scales of cosmic justice were nicely balanced by this one. Sometimes, dear viewer, you really do get what you fucking deserve. And for someone idiotic enough to produce She-Hulk and think it was a good idea, well, they deserve unemployment.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Man, I'm so happy that she's gone. At least she can't ruin... And she can't ruin anything else anymore. And the thing, what I'm saying here is that apparently a lot of people actually liked She-Hulk, like the original She-Hulk from the comics. People like that character. And she completely destroyed it. Which is funny, you know? A female character created by, most likely, I would think, a dude. Liked by everyone. And then a woman comes by, takes the character, and no one likes the character anymore. Imagine how incompetent and stupid you have to be to manage that. It's like taking Batman and making everyone hate Batman. How is that even possible? Yeah. Man, that's so stupid. That's so stupid. And with that, we are at the end of this video. Ladies and gentlemen, if you liked it, give it a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. See you next time. Man. This is making me so angry. Yeah, so how about we talk about Star Trek? So, as someone that watched all of Star Trek with a exception of the original series because I just couldn't get into it. Now, oh boy. So, does anyone remember Star Trek, how was it called? Oh, I don't even remember how it was called. STD? Oh, Star Trek Discovery, right. So I watched that show, right? Because, oh my god, yes, a new Star Trek show. Oh my god, yes, this is going to be awesome. I watched the pilot, which was 2 episodes. And then I watched 15 minutes of the 3rd episode. 50 minutes, and I was like, yeah, I'm done with this. Because it was that stupid. That stupid. And that show got, I think, 3 seasons. And it's one of the most stupid things ever produced. It's that stupid. And the Klingons don't look like Klingons. And then, man, I'm so happy that all the timeline, the entire Kurtzman timeline, aka all Star Trek that was produced by Kurtzman and his company, is gutted. It doesn't exist anymore. Everything is being cancelled, and nothing that they produce is going to be used, because Paramount would have to pay license fees for characters and, you know, anything that Kurtzman created. So nothing of that will be used. And there's a reason for that. For example, merchandising. Literally no merchandising of the Kurtzman era Star Trek was selling. Nothing. The same, by the way, happened with modern Star Wars. The merchandising wasn't selling. No one wants that crap. Why? Because the movies and the shows are that bad. That no one likes the characters, no one likes the shows, no one likes the stories. And that's for a reason, right? I mean, oh, let's go. Star Trek Academy. Let's watch the trailer. Let's watch the trailer, and we go, and I tell you why this is so stupid.
The Starfleet Academy trailer starts now.
Why? We are literally 6 seconds in, and more than about half of that is not even the trailer. So, why is this designed this way? Makes no sense. By the way, this is San Francisco. Here's the, you know, the bridge. Which, by the way, oh, why is that still standing after a nuclear war? No one knows. So, this thing, why is that designed this way? That's retarded. And why is this designed like a spaceship? Now you can argue, oh yeah, it's where they train, you know, for, you know, being in the spaceship. Why is that like that? And by the way, we have never seen something like that ever before when the Academy was shown, ever. And why does this look so dystopian? Why does this look like it's coming out of Blade Runner, where everything is depressive? It's Star Trek, it's a Federation. Earth is supposed to be paradise, literally paradise. No crime, no hunger, nothing. And this looks like we are about to be invaded by, or people are starving on the street. This looks like literally San Francisco today, where all the homeless people are running around shitting on the ground. Man, I'm getting so angry.
Caleb. What's that one? Right there. Right there. One day, when we have our own ship, we are going to go visit Earth. That's right.
Bye-bye, Mommy!
I love you! I'm so sorry.
You hold on to how much you hate me right now, kid.
And all we have seen here, yeah, this doesn't. Does that feel like Star Trek? It doesn't. Absolutely doesn't. This is just a show where the Star Trek IP, the skin of Star Trek was put over this. This is like a serial killer wearing the faces of his victims. This is what this is. Yeah, that's how bad this shit is.
It'll keep you warm at night.
Find him!
Portal breach. Caleb, I've been looking.
And why does that look like Star Wars? This literally looks like Star Wars. Episode 7. Where they go onto the planet to destroy it, and there's snow everywhere. This is literally Star Wars.
Caleb, I've been looking for you every single day for the last 15 years.
That's, by the way, the head of the academy that spins around in her chair laughing. Something Old Star Trek would have never done that because people are professionals. No one in this show is a professional. They're all stupid. They all behave like teenagers at best.
Come with me to Starfleet Academy.
And no, by the way, I haven't watched the show because I've seen the trailer. I saw the trailer and I knew not to watch that. And on top of, where would I watch it? Oh, I have to subscribe to, I don't know what. Yeah, I don't do that.
The Federation will help you find your mother.
That thing is taking us to the school?
That is the school.
Being a cadet in Starfleet Academy means being open.
This doesn't even look like Star Trek. Which is a huge problem. A huge problem. If you look at everything else that's Star Trek, it doesn't look like that. That doesn't even resemble Star Trek. Which is a huge problem. The Star Trek shows, the modern Star Trek shows, all have massive problems with, they don't even look like Star Trek. They don't. And they are written so badly. So badly. And of course they have story arcs that take several seasons. While, back in the day, you had 41 minutes to tell a story. 41 minutes plus ads, commercials, adds up to 1 hour. So that's by 41 minutes. And it worked. It worked very well. And it's really nice. I get so nostalgic when I see other people, discovering old Trek and they're like, oh my god, this is so good. And I'm sitting here, yes it is. Where have you been in the past 30 years? And, oh my god. It's so dumb. And the worst thing is, a lot of the old shows, you can't, where are you watching them? I mean, Power One Plus, but, man, I've watched Red Letter Media episode where they were talking about the first season of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, which, by the way, something very controversial, is actually my favorite Star Trek show. A lot of Star Trek fans hate that show because it's not on a spaceship. But I think it's actually the best show because it's more interesting than the others where you have no character development. I mean, you can't get away with it, if, back in the day with TNG, The Next Generation, where, yes, we completely focus on only the one episode and then we move on. But Deep Space Nine took that and they also had that, but they also had an overarching theme which led into a big a big galactic war. And I mean big. There were literally a lot of factions in there. And it was massive. And it was good. It was good. You had your intrigues back within it. You had your big space battleships. Really, really big battles in space. And that was so cool. I loved that. I loved seeing that. It was amazing. And now, that's literally all what we get. Because the people can't write. The writers for these shows are all trash. You rewatched it about 5 years ago, a big binge session. Oh boy. Oh boy. That must have been great. But I would love to have DVD or Blu-ray sets of the old shows. I would literally watch them. I remember it was Star Trek literally was a staple for me. I come home from school, I watch Star Trek because that was around the time when I came home from school. So that was awesome. That was awesome. Especially, I mean, the Next Generation, there were reruns of that on TV until, I don't know, the year 2000. Simultaneously with then other Star Trek shows also being on air. So I could literally watch 3 different Star Trek shows in one day and be like, yeah, this is good. This is good. At least when I remember correctly. I might completely not remember correctly because, you know, it's so long ago. But yeah, I missed that. I also remember when Star Trek Voyager came out, I recorded all the episodes on VHS. Until I went like, okay, yeah, forget that. That's just too much. But I remember rewatching the pilot for Star Trek Voyager over and over again. Over and over. Because, oh my god, this is so cool. So cool. Man, the good old times. And that's, of course, you know, I do have massive nostalgia for Star Trek. Even more so than for Star Wars. I'm not that nostalgic to Star Wars. Absolutely not. But Star Trek, absolutely, 100%. I remember when I was a teenager, my mother's boyfriend, and I think my mother too, yes, well, we all went to a Star Trek convention here in Germany. And it was great. It was great. That was actually fun. Yeah. The good old times. The good old times. And then going home and then, you know, watching more Star Trek. And I even had models to spaceship models to build. I had several of them. Fantastic. And then I had small models. I remember them. I should still have them, but they are at my mother's place and I don't have contact to my mother anymore, so I can't get them. Otherwise, I would literally show them off. I would literally make videos showing off all my old toys, but I would need to get them from my mother's place, and that's not going to happen. Not going to happen. But that was... And that's why I hate modern Trek. Because it's so stupid. It's so incredibly stupid. The only entertainment or joy that I get out of modern Trek is watching YouTubers making fun of it. And that's the only thing you can do because it's so stupid. The writing in this is so incredibly stupid. Star Trek Academy. I smell out. Combatch. So, I mean, we all remember that, you know? Oh, Star Trek fans, they're all nerds. That the show is so intellectual. it's oh yeah. Oh, look at that guy. He watches Star Trek. Ha ha ha. What a nerd. Watch this.
Next, that would be you, Pouty.
Yeah, no, I don't need a...
Holy parasite. Where did you come in contact with Aurelian lung maggots? And what are they doing in your lower bowels? You bathe in a bog?
What?
Ah! Sorry to say, I've healed you. Now, no more bogs. And keep a close eye on your bowel movements for the next 3 days. Call me if anything moves. Actually, don't. Next.
The writing until now is already bad, right? These people are supposed to be professionals. Also remember, if you go to Starfleet Academy, you already, you know, you are in the Allied. Because Starfleet is... it's science and military. You have to be a professional. You can't be mentally... You can't be 60 IQ and go to the academy. And now here comes this one.
I think I swallowed my comm badge.
Already?
Yeah.
Tricorder? Medical tricorder.
Ow!
Don't be a baby. Next.
See how stupid this writing is? How is this a thing? How is this a freaking thing? You would never find a character that stupid in older shows. Why not? Because the writers are smart enough to know that someone like that would never get into the academy. You have to be completely stupid to do something like that. I mean, how can you swallow something that's that size? That size? And made out of metal. Metal and electronics. How is that a thing? And yes, of course. Oh, let's be funny. Yeah. Congratulations. You shouldn't be writing for Star Trek. You shouldn't. Because you lack the intelligence to do so. Man, I hate all these characters. Man, I'm so getting agitated. I think I have to look at titties again. I think I have to. I think I do. Oh boy. Oh boy. Wait, Starfleet Academy spinning in share. Yep. Oh my god, no. Oh no. Oh no. Did they literally take that from Family Guy? By the way, yes, this is kind of what I mean. But how about we go here? Wait, what?
Have you ever wondered how Star Trek would...
Why? Why did you feel the need to do that? Oh, this is all AI? How about no? How about no? I fell for something stupid. Oh yeah, this one is good. I mean, this is very obviously AI, but it summarizes, you know, what I feel and what Star Trek fans feel about modern Star Trek. You have all these other captains that are professionals, right? That behave in a professional manner. And then you have this new character. This completely unlikable character. They literally want to destroy what the original Star Trek's, you know, set up, you know. Everyone is a professional. I think I'm going to say that a lot. Everyone is a professional. They behave professionally. And that's why they don't behave like children. But everyone in modern Trek behaves like freaking children. Man. And why is that? Because the people writing for this are mentally, you know, not there. And of course they hate Star Trek. They just took the IP of Star Trek and then, oh yeah, let's make something our own. And it's not working out because all the shows are being cancelled. No one is buying the merch, and actually, people that watch the shows are going, why is this so bad? Why does everyone like Star Trek so much, but this is so bad? And then they start going and watching the old shows, which they should, because they are good. Now, the first I think it's 2 seasons of The Next Generation weren't good. You can watch them, but they aren't good. And everyone will admit they weren't good. But after that, yeah, The Next Generation is good. It's good. It's really good. Oh my god, I miss that show so much. I miss watching Captain Picard solving a problem. Being a stern, cold dude, being the captain of the ship. Oh, that's... Man. I miss that so much. So much. These were literally the golden ages of Star Trek. And the thing is, back in the day, you had a lot of cameos of actually, famous people. I remember in one TNG episode, there was a famous basketballer playing a Klingon. Why would the basketballer play a random Klingon in a show, right? Because he likes Star Trek. That's it. You literally had... You had so many cameos from so many actors or just athletes or just rich people that just wanted to be part of Star Trek a little bit, and they just play a side character that maybe doesn't even have a line. Who would do that with modern Trek? I wouldn't want to appear in that. It's disgusting. And the thing is, they always brought back people from the old guard to promote the new stuff, but that didn't work. Because no one wants to watch the new stuff. Now, I have heard from the guys at Leadwater Media that the last or 2 last seasons of Star Trek Picard are good. Everything before that is trash. But it became good when, the old guard came back and, played the old roles. And welcome, Isekai Pepperoni. So, yeah. I'm ranting 24 hours about how bad modern Star Trek is and how much I love. Oh my god, yes. I think I've brought, up how much I despise and dislike modern Trek enough by now. I think you're getting it, right? Modern Trek bad, old Trek good. If you can get your hands on DVD sets, of the old shows, or even Blu-rays. If you're into Star Trek, if you've watched the new stuff and you're like, this is trash, but you are into Star Trek because the universe is interesting, and stuff like that, get the old stuff. Just get it. And the thing is, if it turns out you don't like it, you can still sell that stuff still. I can guarantee you will find people that will buy your used stuff. Because where else would you get that stuff? Nothing being sold anymore. Everything is, oh yeah, you have to subscribe to our streaming service. If you want it or not, you have to. Man, I hate that stuff. I hate that so much. Okay, we're done. We're done here. If you like this video, give it a like. If you want to see more like this, subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh man. I'm getting so agitated with this shit. You are all racists. Staff at Academy's Carice Brooks has complete meltdown, blames fans for... Oh. Okay. I guess we have to watch this. Ow. But first I have to take a piss. Because, man, I have to take a piss. Back in... Well, we will see. Cooking time. So, how about we laugh about stupid people? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you stupid people.
Yeah.
The world isn't like that.
That was Karis Brooks.
Are you kidding me? Nose ring, tattoos. These two things alone tell you enough, right?
Yeah.
The world isn't like that.
Yeah.
The world isn't like that.
That was Karis Brooks, one of the lead actresses on Starfleet Academy. And what she said after the cameras stopped rolling is so much worse than what you just heard. Because what's worse than a show getting canceled? One of the stars of that show grabbing a microphone and setting fire to everything on her way out the door. Because that's exactly what just happened. And it might be the most self-destructive thing anyone in the Star Trek franchise has ever done.
Cool.
Karis Brooks, one of the lead actresses on Starfleet Academy, has reportedly gone on a full-scale public meltdown following the show's cancellation. And when I say meltdown, I don't mean...
Oh my god. Are these guys wearing lipstick? I think they do. And yes, that's completely besides whatever's going on here. Talking about bad taste, man.
A sad Instagram post with a heart emoji. I mean a scorched earth name-calling, bridge-burning tirade that attacks the fans, attacks Paramount, attacks her own castmates, and essentially calls anyone who didn't love Starfleet Academy a racist and a bigot. This woman just carpet-bombed her own career, and the shrapnel is hitting everyone around her. Let's get into what she actually said, because the specifics are genuinely jaw-dropping. According to reports and screenshots circulating across social media, Karis posted a lengthy statement across her platforms responding to the cancellation. And from the very first sentence, it was clear this wasn't going to be a graceful exit. She allegedly opened by saying something along the lines of, "Paramount has decided to cancel Starfleet Academy, and I want everyone to know exactly why. It wasn't because of ratings or quality. It was because this show dared to be progressive, dared to..."
No, it's because the show is shit. Star Trek has always been progressive. Star Trek literally had the first kiss between a white dude and a black woman in it. Well, in American TV. Which means it was most likely the first ever on TV. They had a Russian during the original Star Trek, right? They had a Russian on the bridge as one of the main officers. That was during the Cold War. That was something. That was something. And having a black woman in the crew at all, that also was quite a novel thing back then. Star Trek was always progressive. Always. Well, whatever progressive actually means. You know? Man.
To center marginalized voices and dared to challenge the racist, sexist, homophobic fan base that's been trying to destroy...
Wait, a racist? Sexist? Homophobic fan base? Are you kidding me? If Star Trek fan base is anything, then not that. At least not on a big scale, because they are literally watching a progressive show. It always has been mostly progressive. It has always been watched by people that were, in a lot of cases, better educated than people that wouldn't watch it. Man, that woman is so stupid. She has no idea what she's talking about.
Star Trek for years. Stop right there. Read that again. She didn't say some fans were toxic. She didn't say there was an element of bigotry in the criticism. She said, "The fan base is racist, sexist, and homophobic. The entire fan base. The people who have loved Star Trek for 60 years. The people who embraced a black woman on the bridge in 1966. The people who made Deep Space Nine with its black captain one of the most beloved shows in the franchise. The people who watched Voyager with its female captain for 7 seasons. Those people. All racists, apparently." Because
he's right. He's absolutely right. I mean, here, best, I mean, number one, Uhura, which for a German saying that name is really something, because we have a word that sounds similar in German. It's Hure, which means whore. Literally. So Uhura is in German kind of, you know, kind of funny. But yeah, this is... And look at, you know, how she's dressed. That mini skirt. Oh yeah, totally sexist. And oh, by the way, that was the 60s. All young women were wearing mini skirts. All of them. That was their revolution. You know, finally, oh yeah, we can show some skin. Which I'm not against. It just depends on, you know, how much skin you show, and, you know, there are always things you can argue about.
Because they didn't like one show. But she wasn't done. Not even close. Karis allegedly continued by attacking specific corners of the fan community. She reportedly called out YouTube channels and online forums by category, saying something like, the channels that made dozens of videos tearing down every episode, the forums where people spent hours picking apart every line of dialogue, these people were never going to give the show a fair chance.
Oh my god. That's literally Deep Space Nine, the space station from the show that I talked earlier, and that's the Defiant, which is the spaceship that primarily is used in that show. This is so stupid. Why is that? I don't even know. I don't even know. I mean, of course, fans would do all these things that she's talking about. They do that with everything. With everything. Especially with something that is, you know, so beloved by so many millions and billions of people, like Star Trek. Star Trek has a fan base globally. All around the world, people love Star Trek. Well, old Star Trek, not the modern stuff. I mean, we all know, because all the modern stuff is being cut. So, yeah. So much for that. Yeah, she is just full of shit. She just doesn't know what she's talking about because she's dumb. That's literally it. She's literally criticizing a fan base that is global. And I mean that, it's global.
They decided before the first episode even aired that they were going to hate it because it threatened their narrow, regressive vision of what Star Trek should be. Now here's what makes this so infuriating. Many of those YouTube channels she's talking about, they're run by lifelong Star Trek fans. People who can tell you the star date of every episode.
Exactly.
People who have been watching Trek since before Karis Brooks was born. People who praise Deep Space Nine for tackling racism with complexity and nuance. People who celebrated the diverse cast of Strange New Worlds. People who loved Lower Decks for its sharp writing and its respect for Trek lore. These aren't bigots. These are people who watched Starfleet Academy and found it lacking, compared to the decades of Star Trek they already love.
Yeah.
That's not racism. That's having standards.
Exactly.
But apparently, having standards is now a hate crime if the show you're criticizing has a diverse cast. Then Karis turned her guns on Paramount itself. She reportedly said Paramount should be ashamed.
Oh my god, she has even a tattoo right there. That's how you know she's stupid. No one that's intelligent has tattoos on their face, unless it's tribal tattoos, and you know, you are a member of the tribe. And I mean that literally. The Maori, I think, have those tattoos. Or some other tribes in the Amazon or something like that. I don't remember exactly. I only have seen that in documentaries.
of themselves for caving to the mob. They had a chance to show courage, to stand up for progressive values. And instead, they canceled the show and sent a message that if you scream loud enough, if you're toxic enough, you can get whatever you want. Let's unpack this for a second. Paramount didn't cancel Starfleet Academy because of mean tweets. They canceled it because the show failed. The viewership numbers were a disaster. It couldn't crack the streaming top 10 in its premiere week. It was getting beaten by reruns of Everybody Loves Raymond and SpongeBob SquarePants. The audience score on Rotten Tomatoes was 43%. On Metacritic, the user score was 1.6 out of 10. Chris Pine quit the franchise. Patrick Stewart publicly criticized the show's direction. Star Trek veterans organized a coordinated revolt against the creative leadership. But sure, Karis, it was the mob. The imaginary mob of racists who somehow also love Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and every other diverse Star Trek show in the franchise's history. That mob. The part of Karis' statement that really lit social media on fire was when she went after her own castmates. She reportedly said something like, "It's disappointing to see people I worked with staying silent or even distancing themselves from the show. Where's the solidarity? Where's the courage to stand up and say that what we were doing mattered?"
Because what we were doing didn't matter. Which you can tell by the show being cancelled. After the production of 2 seasons, which were produced in tandem, so they don't really count as 2 seasons. It's just they produced the first and then they immediately produced the second one. That's how they got their second season. The second season was never greenlit to produce. They just, did it simultaneously.
Think about what she's doing here. She's publicly shaming young actors, people at the beginning of their careers, for not committing professional suicide alongside her. These are actors who need to get hired again. Actors who understand that publicly attacking the studio that employs you and the audience that watches you is the fastest way to never work in Hollywood again. They're staying quiet because they're smart. Karis apparently thinks they should be martyrs instead. One industry insider described this as the most selfish thing an actor can do to their colleagues. She's essentially demanding that other people sacrifice their careers to validate her feelings. And when they don't, she frames their professionalism as cowardice. That tells you everything about how she sees the world. You're either with her completely, or you're the enemy. And then came the grand finale. The statement that every entertainment outlet picked up and that is still generating fury across the internet. Karis allegedly said, "To everyone who celebrated this cancellation, I want you to know something. You're on the wrong side of history. Star Trek has always been progressive. If you can't handle that, if you need your Star Trek to be safe and comfortable and non-threatening, then you were never really Star Trek fans to begin with." You were never really Star Trek fans, let that sink in. A woman who appeared in one season of one Star Trek show is telling people who have watched the franchise for 30, 40, 50 years that they aren't real fans.
He's right. I started watching Star Trek when I was a kid, and I didn't really, I couldn't determine the difference between Star Trek and Star Wars. I literally was too young to understand what was going on. These two franchises literally intermixed in my head. And it took me until I was a teenager to figure out which is what. But I watched both when I was a kid. New Trek worse than a Goa Oud? Yes, absolutely. 100%. And I think I first started to get that there are two different things when I was about 10, maybe. I started to understand these nuances. And then, because there was no new Star Wars stuff ever coming out, Star Wars fell off, there was just the 3 movies and that's it. But Star Trek, oh yeah, that was great. That was great. TNG came out when I was a kid. I didn't watch it then because I just didn't. And then when I was about 11 or 12, Oh, look, sci-fi. Look, spaceship. Oh, it's called Enterprise. Oh, let's watch that. And I kept on going. And going and going. Man, that was so nice. Oh my god.
Because they didn't like her show. The audacity is genuinely breathtaking. This is a person who showed up to a franchise with 60 years of history, contributed to what multiple metrics suggest was one of the least successful entries in that history, and is now telling the people who built the audience she benefited from that they don't belong. That's not progressive. That's not brave. That's ego dressed up as activism. And the Star Trek community is absolutely shredding her for it. The reaction has been massive, and it's almost entirely against her. Fans who were critical of Starfleet Academy are using Karras's comments as vindication. They're saying this is exactly the problem with modern Trek. The people making it think they're morally superior to the audience, and when the audience rejects the...
Yes, but that's... The thing is, that's not just modern Star Trek, that's also in Star Wars. And basically in everything that comes from the West. Mostly America. In the East, you don't have that. They just make things to entertain people. And if they want to tell a story where, you know, oh yeah, about oppression, sexism, or whatever, then they just do that. But here, and the thing is, they do it in a smart way, which we also did back in the day. I remember that there was a movie, I don't remember how it was called. It was about a prostitute in Los Angeles. And it was after, you know, a real person. And the main character was played by, I think, Sybil Shepherd. And that movie was, for me back then, when I was really young, I think 14, really hard to watch. Because it had grape in it. So, yeah, should have watched that. But, you know, that's a movie where, yes, you have all this, you know, all sexism stuff in it, and violence against women, and how are women being treated, and all that. You have that there, and it's way better than, oh yeah, we are putting it in Star Trek and force it onto people, while also not actually knowing what we are doing. That's modern Star Trek.
Product, instead of examining what went wrong, they blame the audience for being defective. But here's what's really telling. Even fans who liked Starfleet Academy are distancing themselves from Karras. People who defended the show, who pushed back against the harshest critics, who genuinely enjoyed aspects of what it was doing, are saying that her response is counterproductive, embarrassing, and harmful. When your own supporters are saying you've gone too far, you have gone spectacularly too far. Industry insiders are calling it career suicide. One casting director reportedly told contacts that Karras just put herself on every studio's do not call list. Because the message she sent isn't just about Star Trek, it's about what she'll do when any project she's involved with faces criticism. She'll blame the audience, she'll attack the studio, she'll shame her colleagues. No producer in Hollywood wants that liability on their set. What makes this whole situation genuinely sad is that Karras had a choice. She could have handled this like a professional.
Yes.
She could have...
But the thing is, to handle things like a professional, number one, you need to be professional. And number two, here's the important thing. To be a professional, you need to have enough intelligence to be self-aware that the things you're doing are not professional. And that's where she's lacking, in my humble opinion.
Posted something grateful and dignified. Thank the fans who supported the show. Acknowledge that it wasn't for everyone. Express hope for the future. Protect her reputation and keep doors open. That approach costs nothing. It takes 5 minutes. And it would have preserved whatever career momentum she had. Instead, she chose to go nuclear. And the fallout is going to follow her for years. But beyond Karras's personal career implosion, her meltdown reveals something more important about the mindset behind Starfleet Academy and some of the people involved in modern Trek. It's the mindset that says criticism equals bigotry, That audience rejection equals moral failure by the audience. That the problem is never the product, always the consumer. This mind.
Exactly. And we see that mindset all over the Western media. All over the place. We have that, well, the entirety of Star Trek. We have that in Star Wars. We have Star Wars, Star Trek. We have that all over Western gaming. We have that Western comic books. Which, by the way, sell really bad because no one wants to read that shit. And that's... Is that it? Oh, yeah, general movies. Movies from Hollywood. Yeah, no... Remember the last Terminator movie? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, strong independent woman. Yay. Yeah, the typical things, and that just doesn't work. And one major reason why that doesn't work is because they try to portray man and woman as exactly the same, but we aren't, which is very obvious because, for example, I don't have a vagina. I have a schlong. Yeah. And man and woman also behave differently. They see things in different ways. And back in the day, actors and, you know, the writers, they knew that, and they would write strong female characters as, you know, strong female characters. They wouldn't just make these characters, you know, being a dude. But, you know, the dude is just, well, turns out the dude is just a woman. You wouldn't make an Amazon, you know, if you have 120-pound woman being a spy, you don't fight beating up 200-pound dudes that are just as well trained as she is. You don't write it like that, because that is not how she would be a spy. She would be different. She would use her looks, her charm. She would flirt to get a job done. That's how she would do that.
Mindset is poison for storytelling, because if you can never be wrong, you can never improve. If every failure is someone else's fault, you never examine your own work. If every critic is a bigot, you never hear the feedback that could make your next project better. The Star Trek franchise has proven over 60 years that audiences will embrace progressive content when it's done well. Nobody accused Deep Space Nine of being woke when it put a black man in the captain's chair and told stories about racism, religious extremism, and the moral compromises of war. Nobody boycotted Voyager for having a female captain. Nobody review-bombed Strange New Worlds for its diverse cast. The difference between those shows and Starfleet Academy isn't diversity, it's quality. Those shows respected the audience. They told stories that trusted viewers to draw their own conclusions. They created characters who happened to be diverse rather than characters whose diversity was their entire personality.
Exactly. And that's the point. Characters can be diverse, but that is not their entire being. You know, you can be a gay dude, but it doesn't change who you are. It's just a part of who you are. It's just a part of you. If that is all you are, then that is all you are. Then you literally lower the value of your being to just that, and that's never a good thing. Never.
Starfleet Academy, by most accounts, didn't do that. It prioritized the message over the story. It created characters that felt like checkboxes rather than people. And when the audience said this isn't working, instead of listening, the people involved called the audience racist. Karis Brooks's meltdown is the loudest and most public version of that response, but it's not unique to her. It's a pattern that is repeated across modern entertainment. Make something that prioritizes politics over quality. Watch it fail. Blame the audience. Learn nothing. Repeat. Here's where Star Trek stands right now. Starfleet Academy is dead. One of its lead actresses is publicly attacking the fan base and calling them bigots. The show's legacy, whatever small chance it had of being remembered fondly, has been...
It had none. Because literally no one watched that stuff. Literally no one. When I remember correctly, Red Letter Media said that the entire Starfleet Academy show had a couple combined all episodes. I think they had 400,000 views, something around that, on the streaming service. That's nothing. That's literally nothing. Asmongold videos get more views. Like literally one Asmongold video gets more views than all these episodes of Starfleet Academy. That's bad. Now for Asmongold, that doesn't matter. He's a multimillionaire. He still makes a lot of money. I think he did the 50-50 split on his YouTube channel when it comes to the income. He gets 50% of the income of the YouTube channel. The rest goes to his editors. Which, by the way, is something I would do too. But, you know, I literally have no audience. So, yeah. No money for editors. So that's how unsuccessful this show is. A YouTuber gets more views than them. And it's not even close.
Poisoned by Karras's comments. Any theoretical possibility of revival or continuation is gone because no studio resurrects a show when the talent involved is actively hostile toward both the company and the audience. The young actors who worked alongside Karras are now dealing with guilt by association. They didn't say anything wrong, they didn't attack anyone, but they were on the same show as someone who just declared war on the people who buy tickets and subscriptions. That stain doesn't wash off easily in Hollywood, and the Star Trek fan community, already fractured after years of declining quality, is now more divided than ever. Fans who criticized the show feel vindicated. Fans who supported it feel betrayed.
What the? Now.
Who criticized the show feel vindicated. Fans who supported
What the hell? What the hell is this? Now. I'm confused by this right now. Seeing this is either an alien creature or just a person in a costume. And that's the two possibilities inside the universe we are looking here at. Because this does not have the quality of, you know, oh yeah, this is an alien. This is literally just a costume. Yeah, you don't even try to make people believe that it's real. So I'm confused.
Betrayed by Karras making them look bad. And fans who just want good Star Trek are watching this circus wondering if the franchise will ever recover. Karras Brooks wanted to go down swinging. Instead, she'll be remembered as the actress who called Star Trek fans racist because they didn't like her show. In a franchise built on the idea that humanity can be better than its worst impulses, that's about the most un-Star Trek thing anyone has ever done. The bridge is burning, and Karras lit the match herself.
The thing is, we don't really have to worry about this because the show's over. From when is that? 4 months ago. Yeah, he didn't know back then that the show is over. Literally, the entire Kurtzman universe is over. Which is good. It sucked balls. Nose Ring Fury is still undefeated. Yep. The Septum Ring Fury is still undefeated. Yep. Isn't she the one who only watched the show when she auditioned? Oh yeah, she's an expert on the IP. Yep. This is exactly what I would have expected. She had no idea what she was talking about. No idea. Yeah. Man. And this is why I'm kind of a little bit somewhat hopeful that maybe the next Star Trek movie, and yes, there's one in development, That's official. One is in development. It's being written, but not by these people. Other people. They are writing a new Star Trek movie, and it has nothing to do with anything that is currently has been released. It's completely, we are making a time skip a little bit, and the Kurtzman area is that's completely deleted from the Star Trek universe. That doesn't exist. So it's in the original canon until, well, before Kurtzman, you know, the last 3 movies, even before that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, kind of, slightly. Man, oh boy, yeah, so much to Star Trek, yeah. Man, this looks so dumb. But then again, she looks always dumb, so yeah. Yeah, whatever. It's whatever, right? Right? And with that, the rant about Star Trek ends for today. And yes, for today. And if you like this video, give it a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. See you next time. Bye-bye. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Our audience is just incels. These devs clap back at Twitter. You're not our audience. Oh my god. Yeah, this is literally what they say. Oh, you aren't our audience. And then they release a product and no one buys it. Literally no one. Literally no one. Man. Man. Okay, how about we check what we have on our watch later? Oh right, Gen Z is basically illiterate. And it's getting worse. Why is this? Why YouTube? Why? Why? Just stop. Just stop. Man. Okay, so how about we laugh a bit about Gen Z? Should we do that? But first I have to... I have to do something naughty. I have to get rid of my socks because it's too hot. And yes, you foot fetishists are welcome. Ow. Okay, so yeah, man, the heat, the old man is getting sweaty, and I'm basically just waiting for a thunderstorm. The air is already moist, just like, you know. Okay, so how about we laugh at Gen Z? And how they can't read. Now, to be fair, I'm also not a good reader because I never read a lot when I was a kid. So that's fundamentally it, and which is a problem. You should make your kids read books or read in general. That's an important skill. Which also is, you know, important for when you want to work. You need to be able to read. Who could have guessed that if you can't read, you might not be able to, you know, get a good job.
Gen Z can't read. I'm talking to teachers from my high school who are saying, we're not reading books anymore, we're reading excerpts of books. Gen Z is utilizing TikTok summaries of books to write the damn report.
Read the index card.
Which is really bad. She wore a silhouette of clothes that were extraordinary but somewhat gorge. Did I read that correctly, my English-speaking viewers? I hope I did.
He wore a silhouette of clothes that were exaggerating, but some were gauche. What does that mean? You tell me? I don't know.
I don't know. He might genuinely be toast here.
That's true, yeah. He was very clearly drunk, just like me yesterday.
Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. I am very, very sorry in advance if I'm a little bit flat today. I am suffering from insane allergies, and yes, I took something for them, and no, I don't feel better. I can hardly breathe out of my face. I just want to love the pollen. I don't know why it hates me. Anyway, so a few nights ago, I was perusing my Instagram feed when this video popped up.
Read the index card.
The dog's unwearing loyalty exemplified.
Wait. The dog's unwavering loyalty exemplified an oh god. That wird es Jesus Christ. Unreciprocated emotional dependency. Okay, that was hard. But also, you know, I'm not a native English speaker, so there are excuses. Actually valid excuses.
And unreciprocated emotional dependency.
Okay. Yeah. What's that mean?
It means I don't know.
Read the index card.
The dog's unwavering loyalty exemplified and unreciprocated emotional dependency.
What does that mean?
Exemplified means like, is that even a word?
This lad has a
wait. Exemplified? Exemplified. Good question. These are two words that I have never seen before, so I've no real idea.
And unreciprocated emotional dependency.
What does that mean?
Exemplified means like, is that even a word?
This lad has a series of videos asking people to read a sort of obscure but totally understandable sentence using words like deity, exemplified, silhouette, and gauche.
Deity. A deity is fundamentally just a god. How do you not know that?
Can understand people not knowing the word gauche, so we will forgive that one.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Not the rest.
Neither.
There seems to be this new trend online where people are.
The deity had the premonition of the impending cataclysmic event. Premonition is a foresight. And the rest, I think everyone knows, right? I hope.
Showing other people how bad other people are at literacy and comprehension. Readers quickly become frustrated when they don't understand.
The dog's unwavering loyalty. No, don't even. I can't read it.
Read the index card.
She wore a silhouette of clothes that were extraordinary but somewhat.
What does it mean?
A gooch?
No, what's the sentence mean?
These people vote. Now, the clips that I just showed you might seem a little...
That's a problem. That's a problem. These people are allowed to vote. They can't even read, but they are allowed to vote. Now, don't get me wrong. In the history of mankind, a lot of people weren't able to read, right? Because they just never learned that. That wasn't a skill that they ever needed. If you are growing up on a farm in the Middle Ages, you don't need to read. For Christ's sake, in the Middle Ages, kings couldn't read. And I mean that literally, kings couldn't read. So they had to hire someone that could read and write. So I could be kind of well off back then.
little familiar, and this is because they're taking inspiration from a teenage boy called Vic, who recently went super viral for asking students in his school to read similar sentences.
Read the ending score for me.
She wore a suit, clothes that were... Who's this for? Extraordinary, but somewhat Gertrude?
Now explain what that means.
I don't know.
She wore a sahalat.
Yeah, if you can't even read the words, then you have never seen the words, so you don't know what these words mean.
Of clothes that were extraordinary, whatever, bro, but somewhat. What does that mean? She wore a lot. Wait, she wore. Bro, I don't know, bro. Can you take the card back, please?
She wore a. I don't know what this shit say. I don't know what this shit say. I don't know what this shit say. Can't read it. Can't read it. Can't read it.
I'm not going to make jokes here, I feel like, for pretty obvious reasons, and that last clip really made me quite sad. But obviously, because of the nature of this video, it went super viral and popped off online, because I think a lot of people were quite confronted by the fact that young people really can't read. I mean, they are in Philadelphia. Have you seen Philadelphia? In addition to struggling to read words at all, it became clear...
Yeah, as far as I know, Philadelphia is bad. Not as bad as, how was it called? The Car City, Detroit. But still bad. Really bad.
That if they could read the sentence, they didn't have any idea what the words actually meant. I mean, at least the kids tried, right? The adults from the first clip were like... Now, a few days after his first and second reading videos popped off, Vec posted that he would make a part 3 of his series, but his school was threatening him with expulsion, not allowing him to go to prom or to walk at graduation. This news also went super viral because why would you punish this kid?
He has a high GPA and can read. His Philadelphia prep school is expelling him for proving his classmates can't read. Oh. Yep. Because the teachers don't do their work. Because the teachers don't care. They are just there for the money. Just like in Germany. I've literally seen an interview of a teacher or a student that studied to become a teacher. And the reason why he wanted to become a teacher is the retirement. That shouldn't be the reason why you become a teacher. It absolutely shouldn't.
Kid for exposing your failures, school. I did a little bit of poking around about this because I'm always skeptical when I see things like this, and I found an alleged statement from the school that basically said that the video took the students out of context, leading to a portrayal that was misleading and unfair. Righto.
Really?
The statement also subtly confirms that action was taken against Vec, but it didn't involve expulsion, suspension, blocking him from graduation or prom or whatever.
I don't
Well, I
believe
guess
that.
whatever happened to this kid can't have been that bad because he's gone ahead and made 8 more of these videos now. And yes, they are all as bad as each other. He even started asking his fellow students to read cursive, which is really a thing to behold.
Yeah, absolutely no. Feeble. That's easy. That's an F. That's 2 E's. A BLE. Yeah.
Riddle.
Hello?
What?
The fuck? Wait, did that just say reptile? What the fuck?
That's not even hard.
Pickle?
I'm not terribly surprised that schools don't require kids to write in cursive anymore, but it does bother me a lot. I was genuinely not able...
For example, how are they supposed to read old letters that are, historically important, which do exist? So, yeah, that's the thing. You can't read old texts if they are just in cursive. You can't. Which is bad. This is all... Do we need to get into conspiracies? This is all a ploy to make people stupid.
To get my pen license in grade 4 unless I properly learn to write in cursive, so today's kids will never know that struggle. Hello.
Pen license?
Yeah, that was like a thing when in Australian... Well, I actually don't know if it was Australian schools or just my school. Yeah. I have like an actual little document at home that they laminated for us. I was one of the last kids in the class to get it.
Y'all are okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Growing up in Australia was a wild time. It's also pretty wild being able to earn actual...
Well, to be fair, when I was in elementary school, I made a driver's license for my bicycle, which literally all the kids did. And yes, that was a real thing. We literally learned in school again how to ride a bicycle, but it was more like, you know, oh yeah, this is what these signs, this street signs mean, and this is how you know, don't get run over, basically.
Money by playing mobile games, which is what the sponsor of today's video, Free Cash, can do for you. But before you skip this, you better not skip it. I just want to show you, and I don't know if you can see that, I have made $195 playing one game with Free Cash. I really play it, so this is not a joke. You can earn actual money. And so now we're gonna play the ad. Listen, I'm gonna level with you all. You probably hear about a sponsor like Free Cash and think, yeah, there's absolutely no way that an app is making me any money. And I'm not gonna lie, I 100% had the same thoughts initially as well. So I decided to actually give it a go for a period of time, and as you can see here, hopefully that you can see this, I have a 53-day streak. And you can also see by my balance that I have made almost $200 playing one game.
Wait, stake.us? Oh, okay. That's literally the same company that owns Kick. You know, the gambling company. Yeah. So no wonder they can pay you for that. They most likely sell you data or try to get you to the gambling sites or whatever. That's why this doesn't exist at all.
And it's this silly little solitaire game that I play at night when I want to unwind. And that's actually because in this solitaire game, through Free Cash, I can make a couple $100 every time I beat specific levels, which is crazy. I already know that the vast majority of you are playing mobile games or playing actual video games or just doom scrolling in your free time, so why not actually make some cash while you're at it? Free Cash is an online loyalty platform where users all over the world can sign up and earn extra cash by playing mobile games from different categories. And you know, unlike other platforms, Free Cash is actually free to use. There are no subscriptions, no hidden sign-up fees, just you, your phone, and the chance to win and earn actual money. This platform is also tried and tested like no other, proven by their 4.7 star rating with almost 280,000 reviews on Trustpilot. When you sign up, you know what you're getting, which is the opportunity to make some extra cash by playing fun little games that you like.
Sure.
Like Disney Solitaire, which is the one that I've been playing, and if you don't believe me, I am over level 1600. Do not judge me. You can also pick from a list of offers. Choose one that you'd like, download it, play the game, and Free Cash will track your progress. Make sure that you have app tracking.
Free Cash. That sounds like something a communist would come up with.
Enabled. That way, the app can reward you for everything you do. You can even make a few in-app purchases to speed things up because they give you cash back for that as well. What's extra cool is getting an additional $10 bonus when you start your first offer when you use my code. So download Free Cash today using the link in the description and start padding out your savings account a little bit. You know, get up to the couple $100 in there like me.
And that all is being financed by people gambling. Literally. Because it's owned by Stake.
So obviously in making this video, I learned a tremendous amount about how illiterate everybody in America is and how literacy rates, especially among young people, are quite possibly the worst they've ever been. And I find that fact wildly depressing.
I don't know if I should find this very sad or very hilarious.
Wait, what? Students proficient in reading. Oh no. Illinois has 24 schools where not a single child can read at grade level. Oh no. I mean, I'm not surprised that, you know, the kids in Chicago can't read properly. Graduate rate, oh no. Why are only... So little people graduating. Oh my god, that's bad.
This is actually crazy. Illinois has 24 schools where not a single child can read at a grade level. Illinois State Board of Education schools with 0 students scoring proficient on the IAR or the SAT in 2024. These are all the schools that are listed right here. And you see that number right here, students proficient in reading? 0. Like, bro, what the heck is going on, man? Kids cannot even read on the first grade level. Think about that for a second. Do you know how sad that is?
I also learned by extension that Gen Z and Gen Alpha just fundamentally lack other core skills like being able to tell time or look people in the eyes when they speak to them.
Oh yeah, that with the looking people in the eyes when talking, that's because of Corona. They completely not learned these skills. There has been massive developmental problems due to Corona and the masks. Massive. And that's not just America, that's everywhere. It's a huge problem. Now you can fix that by forcing them to look you in the eyes. Well, kind of fix them. But yeah, you have to actively work on that. Which most parents don't because they don't care. At least these days, you know, the normal.
Unfortunately, making eye contact seems to be a non-cultivated skill in this group. Same goes for blinking. You do not blink enough. As much as technology has had some material benefits and many things that have helped us as a society, I think that the over-reliance on it, particularly in households, but also in the education system, is having some incredibly deleterious effects that we are seeing play out now, and no one really seems to be taking measures to stop it. And unfortunately, teachers have been screaming about this for years and years and years, and their protests have fallen on mostly deaf ears.
Elementary school kids are not reading. Kids are not reading. Kids cannot read. It doesn't matter if your child's at an A school, or if your child's at a D school, or if your child's at a charter school, or a private school. I have seen kids at all areas. They all struggle. They all struggle because they don't have exposure and they don't have consistency with reading.
I'm gonna just say this. I teach 7th grade. They are still performing on the 4th grade level.
7th grade English teacher here. I teach in Northern Houston, and I teach at one of the more affluent schools. When I tell you that these babies cannot read.
Why would they be able to read if all they do is sitting in front of a phone on iPad? How would they learn how to read? Now, my reading got better when I started reading books. I think the first one was the first book I actually read completely was The Lord of the Rings, which is something, right? That book is 1,300 pages, something like that. Maybe 1,400. That's a lot to read. And I read that book almost 4 times. Yes, almost. I stopped the 4th time reading when I was 3/4 through it. But yeah, you have to kind of force your kids to read. And give your kids things to read that, you know, that are interesting. For example, I would give my kids the books that I have from Robert E. Howard, where all the short stories about Conan, the original short stories are in. Because they're great. Number one, the stories are great, they're well written, and they're short. Well, not all of them, but most are short, so they can get through a story very quickly. And then have, you know, success in reading. Which is also an interesting thing, you know. If you give them success, then, you know, they want to do more.
They cannot write. And they cannot comprehend. I'm not being funny. I'm being dead serious. It doesn't exist. I have kids constantly asking me, how do I spell window? How do I spell important?
Oh my god.
How do I spell though? And they be serious. They're dead serious.
Really?
I could ask them, who is the main character of your story? The story of 4-paragraph story we just read. Can't tell you. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know. It took us 4 weeks. 4 weeks to get through how to answer a question in a complete sentence.
If you go on
Wow.
TikTok especially, you will see video after video of teachers losing their minds about the core skills that kids just don't have. And
Yeah.
you can see how frustrated they are that there is so little that they can do when parents refuse to step up. I even found this one video of a year 11 student commenting on an assignment the class was given that really looks like it was designed for small children.
Hearing people talk about how kids in this generation cannot read anymore,
Yeah.
it reminded me of an assignment that I got in my English class. Keep in mind I'm a junior in high school. This was our assignment.
Really?
Are we serious?
That's nothing. That's nothing. This is literally stupid. What is this? Really? That's a joke. That's an absolute joke.
And kids were getting answers wrong. They were getting some of these wrong. This is elementary level work.
I remember I'm to be fair, the translation of assignment I actually don't really know. So I just go with we did tests, where we could get grades on. And I remember English tests that were 4 or 5 pages like that, and even way more. And yeah, when I learned for the stuff, yeah, I got good grades, and if I didn't, I didn't. But this is a joke. This is an absolute joke.
Oh my god. Like, I should not be able to take a nap in my English class and still pass with like a 95, I think. I should be up and doing work.
To be clear, the assignment says, circle the confusing word that best completes each given sentence. By confusing words, they mean words that are spelled different but look similar to another word, like loose and lose, quite and quiet. We are so fundamentally screwed. This is unfortunate.
Well, to be fair, as a non-native English speaker, the difference between quite and quiet is for me kind of hard. Now, in writing, not in speaking, no, zero. But I'm also not a native English speaker, so there's an accused. So there's, oh yeah, you can excuse that, if I get that wrong, but not if you're a native. No. No, just no. Because there's enough of a difference. It's not like in German. German is well, I have to say that my English always was better than my German when it comes to writing. Always. And it still is, I think. Which is funny. But then again, I also primarily use English. Literally. All my thinking is in English. Oh, well, let's say 95%. And even when I, talk to myself, like when I hit myself, when I walk, my foot hits the table, I swear in English. Speaking English is my immediate reaction to everything, not German. That tells you a lot, right?
Definitely the type of thing that we were doing in primary school as 6-year-olds. Choose and chose, just by the way, are just different tenses of the same verb. Anyway, the kids don't know anything about any of that, but they sure do have time to go to political protests, or their teachers have time to cancel all of their classes to also go to political protests.
Yeah.
So these May Day walkouts and staffing issues.
That's a huge thing. Why is that a thing? These teachers should get fined, at least. At least they should get fined for that.
Are disrupting schools, our kids' educations, especially in blue states and cities like Madison, Wisconsin, like Chicago. Out in North Carolina, more than 20 districts are affected by these protests. One Wisconsin mom says this is more than just a day off.
It turns out I don't want your opinion on politics when you can't even spell politics. Oh, and
Yes. And the thing is, that's all on purpose that they can read, right? Why would that be? Because if you can't read, then you know, can't take in information that is in written form. So you are less educated about anything, which makes you more susceptible to lies. And guess what? Then who do you vote for? For the ones who tell you the best lies. And you can't check them because you can't read. That's why these blue states, you know, don't care about the education of the kids. They say they do, but they don't. Because only the uneducated vote for them, so they have to keep the education low. The same is happening in Berlin. Berlin has the worst schools in the entire country, and they're saying that they want to, you know, fix that for decades now. And I mean it, decades. Like in the 90s they said that. And no, they don't. Why? So the politicians get voted into, you know, parliament again. Yeah. They're getting voted by the people that are uneducated, which is the majority of people in, you know, that town. Fuck that shithole.
It also isn't just Gen Z who is basically totally illiterate. The newest generation to be hitting the education system, Gen Alpha, are infinitely more cooked than their predecessors.
Everybody wants to bash on Gen Z, but did you guys know that Gen Alpha can't read? I was talking to one of our church kids, and he like very boldly told me, yeah, I don't know how to read, and neither does anybody in my class. Mind you, this kid is starting 5th grade in August, okay? And I thought he was playing, so I told him, you know, kids will do anything for money. So I was like, I'll give you $10 if you can tell me what this bag says. It said chips in giant letters. And I said, you can sound it out, you can try spelling it or whatever to help you read it. Because I thought he was lying. So this dude goes, CHIPS. And I go, what does that say? And he goes, potatoes.
Wait, what?
We're cooked. I think the thing that
Oh my
hopefully
God.
should be obvious about all of this is that these young
Now,
people...
if that's true, right? If that's true. We always have to keep in mind things might not be true.
People are going to become adults who won't be able to function in society. And actually, on a long enough timeline, society in and of itself will probably collapse because it will be full of adults who don't know how to do or say or read anything. It's
Yep.
probably going to play out like idiots.
Which is the plan. If we go into conspiracy theories, which is this is the plan. People are too stupid to maintain society. Society collapses. You get conquered by other people. Yay. Now the men get all, you know, ended, having their heads chopped off, and the women become slaves. Yay, fun times.
Democracy where there's one person who can kind of read and everybody else considers that person to be some sort of wizard specimen. I don't even have kids and I feel failed by them. Back in January, Fortune magazine published an article titled, Gen Z are arriving to college unable to even read a sentence. Professors warn it could lead to a generation of anxiety and lonely graduates. The article goes on to discuss how the education system is essentially being forced to lower the bar that is basically already in hell anyway, because young adults are showing up to college classes unable to read or understand even a single sentence. Okay, so it turns out that the adults cannot read either. That is tremendous news. This
Sounds like South Africa. In South Africa, you pass exams if you get 36% right. 36%. And now that person engineers the bridge you are driving over. Great. That person is your doctor. Great.
article goes on to quote a professor called Jessica Wilson, who said that she has to read things out loud because she knows there is no way any of her students have done the reading the night before. She says even when you read it in class to them, there's so much that they can't process about the very words that are on the page. Another theology professor from Notre Dame, and no guys, I'm never saying this university is Notre Dame because that just sounds incredibly stupid. Anyway, he said that he would assign 25 to 40 pages of reading early in his career, like many, many years ago, and students would do the work even if they struggled with it, or they would tell him that they were struggling and he would help. Now, he says that he'd be hard-pressed to get a student to even engage with that much text, and now they have AI summaries to carry them through their courses.
Gen Z can't read. I'm talking to teachers from my high school who are saying, we're not reading books anymore, we're reading excerpts of books. Gen Z is utilizing TikTok summaries of books to write the damn report. They're also out here complaining when they get a big ol' F on that. Zillennials were the ones who were at the peak of public education. We had to read, not just a book, we had to read books.
If this doesn't depress you,
Man.
I don't know what will. You know, the thing that really gets me is you have Scandinavians being pooped out who speak 40 languages from the time they're as big as a potato, and meanwhile Americans are over here like...
Sylvia of clothes.
Anyway, given
Can't
all
even
of the
get one
reading
right.
difficulties and comprehension issues that young people have in university, their professors are having to tailor their lesson plans and whatnot, their lectures and what have you, to all of these difficulties. They're having to give shorter assignments and whatnot. They're having to return to the same piece of literature over and over and over again to ensure that the students engaging with it, because you can't even say reading it because they're not reading it. The students engaging with it just happen to understand what's being said. And even after all of that, they probably still don't. Like I said, dumbing things down like this is why I maintain that Idiocracy is actually a documentary. Like I mentioned before, it's not just reading that's the problem. It's not just literacy and comprehension that are issues here. There are other things that apparently Gen Z particularly, and Gen Alpha as well, cannot do. Schools have apparently been removing analog clocks for some time because students just don't know how to read them. Sorry in advance for the explosion.
That thing is old, by the way. I've seen videos about that 10, 12 years ago, and it's baffling. And it's not even hard. It's not even hard to teach kids that. It's super easy.
Noises in this next clip. I did try to edit them out, but it kind of made the audio really wonky, so just know I did my best, but this generation loves these weird noises. I don't know.
Dude, I've never seen one of these before. I'm used to digital, man.
Ever seen a clock before?
No.
Okay.
7:12?
Sure.
Is it 12:10?
12:10.
12:09?
12:09. Yeah, you're close.
No, 9:25.
9:25. Close, you're 5 minutes off.
That was actually pretty decent for, you know, that.
It's 9:02.
9:02.
2:09.
2:09. Okay.
It's 9:02. Why would it be 9:02? Why would we be in school at 9:02? Why wouldn't we be in school at 9:02?
We also know that they can't
No, that was stupid. That was stupid. At least it was funny.
read cursive.
Does this word say?
Minimum. Have teens forgotten how to read cursive? Yes, of course. The thing is, they didn't forget. They never were taught.
I don't know.
Medium. Close? Miniature. Get any of the letters?
And an I.
And so many of them have that terrible Gen Z stare that we know and love so much.
This is a Gen Z stare everybody's talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't talk to people. Why am I not getting approached by the waiter? Raise your arm. Look for them. Call out for them. That's what you do if you're, you know, a person.
Traumatizing. I know you Gen Zers like to think that you're so much cooler than us, but you're not. You have fewer neural pathways. You know, as a complete aside, I'm not sure how many of you have seen the show The Devil's Plan. It's on Netflix. You can watch it on American Netflix. It is a Korean sort of reality show, I guess, and it basically is looking for the smartest person in this group of other super nerds. But when they lose challenges or things go wrong, the show locks participants in rooms and in prison women and forces them to spell and do maths. Meanwhile, American reality shows have half-naked people molesting each other on beaches.
Yeah.
And I actually think that's such an insane juxtaposition for so many of our issues. Koreans have a bunch of shows built around being the smartest person from a group of smart people. Our reality shows, on the other hand, are based around who can be the biggest I think one of the many problems...
And that's on purpose. They want you to be stupid. Yes, they.
Today with education is that no one can expect excellence out of children, because if you expect excellence and some of the kids aren't as excellent as other kids, then those kids will feel left out. So inevitably we
and
get...
you can have that, so we have to lower the bars, and lower the bars, and lower the bars until there are no bars anymore, and now everyone is a doctor. And it's completely meaningless. So now you need something else where you can tell that, you know, people are qualified for anything. Now we become a super doctor. Yeah. This is how you destroy society.
This boat of mediocrity, and if any kid falls in the water, there's a high probability they can't swim. One of the primary arguments that I ran into again and again, reading teacher accounts from around the internet and listening to my friends who have kids in school, and also listening to the teachers on social media, is that a lot of people feel like this whole no child left behind thing has actually destroyed learning environments for kids who actually want to be there. And it's so sad seeing schools in the US kill off their gifted programs so they don't discriminate against non-gifted kids. Yeah.
Actually, so they cut that off in, I think, Los Angeles or San Francisco. So why did they cut it off? Because there were no black kids in those gifted programs. That's why. You can't have that. That's racist. You can't have that.
This is a real thing. At this point now, I probably watched about 100 videos of teachers explaining their various reasons why kids, and I guess now adults, can't read. I do think that this problem is multifaceted, and there are absolutely socioeconomic factors at play here. But if we're being honest, I do think that a lot of this also starts at home. Fewer adults themselves are reading for their own enrichment, and so it follows that they won't read to their kids.
Yeah.
And some people are just straight up blaming millennials for why Gen Alpha is the way that Gen Alpha is.
Millennial parents are why Gen Alpha can't
Of course that's the case. Of course.
read. 73% of Gen Alpha parents are millennials. They're the person who gave the kid a tablet at 0 years old because mommy has to watch 16 and Pregnant. And now your child is in school and they are skipping popcorn reading because none of these kids can read. The tablet just taught them how to put in prompts, which is why it's so easy for them to use things like AI. AI doesn't take any brain power. It literally deletes it. If you want to guarantee that you are a smart individual inside of the next 10 years and your brain isn't literally soup, you would start reading books, you would start physically writing, and you would stop using AI for most things.
Do not let millennials bully you on politics anymore. They have raised the most illiterate generation in human history. It is not the phones. I got my first phone when I was 11 in the 6th grade. It's not the phones, it's the parenting. They're not reading to their kids, they're not...
She's right, it's the parenting. 100% it's the parenting. Absolutely. How do I know it? Because I'm a result of not really great parenting. Now I do know how to handle money thanks to my mother giving me an allowance. Starting when I was about 6 years old. So I learned the value of money. Going so far that I was saving up a lot of money for toys. Literally hundreds of Deutsche Mark back in the day. Hundreds. I literally would spend $150 on Lego sets. Something like that. 150? Maybe. I remember I wanted to buy a T-Rex from Dino Riders. No one remembers that. And that thing was about 125 Deutsche Mark. And I saved that money. Took me about a year. And then the toy line was dead. Didn't exist anymore. Great. Got something else. Because, you know, it's my money. I can do with that whatever I want. So I got me other dinosaur.
Monitoring their homework. They cannot be talking to them daily to be this illiterate. It's impossible. On top of the woke, gentle parenting, you know, participation trophy, fucking horse shit. Authoritarian parenting is the only parenting that works.
Yes.
As much as we can knock...
She's right, by the way. She's absolutely right. So, oh my god, that freeze frame. She's absolutely right. I hate soft parenting because I was soft parented and it didn't work out at all. At all. I was basically taught nothing by my mother, which is really bad. Really, really bad. I even taught myself to cook, when I remember correctly. So, yeah. And I do like cooking, by the way. I do like it. It's fun. It's fun making something that's nice tasting, you know? And it's even better if you know, cook for others and then they say, that's good. Gives you a really nice feeling in your chest.
Many parts of the American school system, I feel like a lot of people overlook the fact that you've got kids who, can't read, can't write, can't do a lot of things, and then you have teachers who are having to corral 20 of these kids every single day. And a lot of people don't consider in these conversations the massive behavioral issues that kids are going to school with every single day the teachers have to deal with as well. In order to make this video, I was talking to a friend of mine who's got 2 kids who I think are in grade 1. She has read to them since they were tiny. She reads with them most nights from what she said to me. And she said that when she sent them to school, number one, teachers were wildly impressed with her kids' reading ability, which shocked her. But then also she has told me that a lot of the other parents have admitted that they don't read with their kids at all. And so there's just fundamentally
and that's a problem.
A lack of exposure to reading and to words and to new words that these kids have or don't have because their parents are not taking the time to do these things with them. My friend's position is I've been reading to my kids since they were this big, and that's not an odd thing. This is just part of our routine. This is part of...
Yes. I mean, when I grew up, my mother would read good night stories to me until a certain age, and then I didn't care anymore. And the entirety back then, when it comes to, you know, raising children, you know, bringing them into bed, having them sleep, basically the entire, even in media, everyone was reading to their kids. Everyone. That was the norm. If you wouldn't read to your kids, you were the odd one. So I completely don't get why. I guess people just don't like their kids anymore. I guess that's it.
What we do every day, and apparently this is a staggering concept to so many other parents. Magnify this terrible reality by an entire generation and you've got some pretty big problems. Trends show us fewer people read each year, even though literacy is one of the biggest indicators of...
Wait, on average 79% of US adults nationwide are literate in 2024. That's not a good thing. 21% of adults in the US are illiterate in 2024. Well, yes, that's literally what the first one says. 54% of adults have a literacy below a 6th grade level. 20% are below 5th grade level. Oh, that's bad. Low levels of literacy cost the US up to 2.2 trillion per year. That's a lot. 34% of adults lacking literacy proficiency were born outside the US. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. The same is the case in Germany and France, and, you know, generally everywhere, where people en masse come there to live there. Massachusetts was the state with the highest rate of child literacy. So that's a place to go. New Mexico was the state with the lowest child literacy rate. Really? New Hampshire was the state with the highest percentage of adults considered illiterate. Okay, that's New Hampshire, isn't that where all the rich people have houses? That would explain that. The state with the lowest adult literacy rate was California. Of course, I just waited for that. Because California is a shithole.
Success, and it's not just one generation, it's basically every generation reaching more for tech that delivers faster results rather than books, which take time and effort to absorb. We're going to do the rest of the video without the big lights on because I am getting a sinus headache, so I love allergies, man. It's so fun. This is one of those topics where I legitimately haven't even scratched the surface of what's going on here, all the reasons this is happening, all the many variables that are taking place to create this SHIT show of a situation. But as somebody who has loved reading her entire life, it makes me so sad to know that other...
Fun fact, I hated reading. I hated reading while I was in school. I hated it. Never wanted to do it. I hated it. And then the Lord of the Rings movies came out and I was like, oh my god. I want to watch them after I read the books. And then I read the books. And then I got the first DVD set from the first movie and watched it. Great. Then the second movie, great. And then for the third, I went actually to a free movie feature in a theater, cinema. And yeah, that was awesome. I think I spent about 12 hours in the theater cinema. And it was so good. I think I came home at 3 p.m. No, a.m. Oh, great times. Great times. It was so good.
People are not reading at all anymore, and by extension, their children aren't reading. And frankly, I don't want to see books fall out of favor. I don't want to see people not being curious about language and about words and adding new words to their vocabularies or learning how to create more complex sentences, sounding more elevated. I don't want to see these things fall by the wayside. And actually, as far as vocabularies go, I think one of the reasons why there's an over-reliance on the word like is because people these days fundamentally lack the ability to make complex sentences. Yes. And so it's much easier when you don't quite know what you want to say to use like or or some other filler phrase or word rather than pause, think of the word you want to use, utilize it, and continue on. Ultimately, this is a huge issue with huge sweeping societal implications. And one of the things that I do want to say here before I close this video out is if you are somebody who wants to get more into reading, but you find that you don't have the attention span anymore to do so, that makes a lot of sense because the doom scrolling that you do on TikTok or Instagram or wherever, is directly destroying your ability to sit down and read a book. So if you find yourself incapable, to begin with, if you find yourself incapable of sitting down and concentrating, you have to stick with it. And eventually, over time, especially if you stop scrolling at night, you will have a better attention span. You will be able to concentrate again.
Absolutely.
But I think one of the primary ways that we fix all of this is legitimately just by reading books.
Yes.
Picking up books as an adult and reading them yourself, going to the library, buying them from the bookshop, but also sitting down with your kids and reading books to your kids and getting them interested and excited about language.
The thing is, you don't need to read massive stories like The Lord of the Rings. Like I said, I have the all the short stories written by Robert E. Howard about Conan. I have them. The longest one is about 300 something pages, and the shortest one is, I don't know, 10? That's possible. You know, something like that. Read something short. Start with short things. You can read articles. That also works. You know, you don't have to start with difficult stuff. You can literally read comic books or mangas. That also works to a certain degree. Of course, books are better, but it still works. You still get into reading, which is the important part.
I will even make some book suggestions in the description box of ones that I have enjoyed in the past and books that I have read recently and really enjoyed as well. Ken Follett, really any Ken Follett book, but Ken Follett, Pillars of the Earth, amazing. Absolutely read it. If you like historical fiction, this one is for you. The Silent Patient, so good. I got this for Christmas. This is a new one that I read. I couldn't put it down. I read it in like a weekend because I wanted to know what was happening. The Bronze Horseman, I have read this so many times. It was for a really long time my favorite book. It does have adult scenes in it, but they're not written like the creepy crap today, like the smut books today. This is a war book. It's also a love story. It's awesome. It's set in World War II. I highly recommend this one if you are into that kind of thing. All right, that is enough out of me. In the end, guys, I have to say that this is a really disturbing issue as far as I am concerned.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think how we fix this is make reading a thing again. Make
Yes.
it interesting again. Make people want to read again. Because if not, I think we will end up living in the documentary that is Idiocracy. Now on
Yes,
that note,
exactly.
and before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder, check out Free Cash using the link in the description or
Again.
scanning that QR code on screen. Like I said, was quite surprised the Free Cash is actually a thing that actually earns you money, but it does, and I think I'm level 2000 on my little solitaire game now, so that's probably kind of embarrassing. Anyway, absolutely check them out. This is something that's very legitimate. Now I open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? Is it alarming to you that a lot of young people fundamentally don't know how to read? What do you
Yes,
think of the
it
fact
is.
that millennials are being blamed for not reading to their children, and therefore those little kids have a really negative relationship with literacy? What do you make of kids not knowing the words that they're reading off the page and not being able to explain back what those words mean? And what do you think of those kids going off to university where their illiteracy is basically in a way being normalized and being accepted by the education system? Is all of this good?
Because the universities just want to make money. They don't care about actually educating. That's a problem. We have that kind of here. When I still had the TV, so over a decade ago, way over a decade ago, I think 15 years ago, I saw a report about, education problems in Germany, and they interviewed a Germanistic professor, and he said that he has student literally studying Germanistic, German, and they can't build a sentence. So now he has to actually grade them worse, because before, oh yeah, I graded them because they are students, so of course I grade them well. What the fuck? What the hell? The entire education system everywhere is a joke at this point. I wouldn't trust any educator anymore.
Is it bad? Is it sort of the net effect of technological advancements? And what do you generally make of this issue overall? As always, if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like having you along for the full ride. If you are new here, you're not subscribed already, and you'd like to see more of me and more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel, as well as leaving this video a like and a comment, because I do read the majority of them and I like hearing your feedback. Like I always say, my wonderful little chickadee people, I hope you stay safe and well and make very good choices. Go and read a book, and I will see your wonderful little faces in the next video.
Good video. I agree with everything she said. And the problem is not technology. It isn't. How do we know? Japan. The education there is very good. People you don't have these problems in Japan, and they have a higher grade of technology there. So it's not technology. It's society. And if you don't care about your children, then of course your children will not succeed at all in life. Unless you make their life so bad that they get the drive from within themselves to not be just like you. Many such cases. Many such cases. Let me know in the comments of this video if what is your opinion? Is it the parents? Which I say yes, definitely, absolutely. But it's also a lot of the teachers, the ones that, bring the kids out to demonstrate social injustices and stupid shit like that instead of teaching them. Yeah, I think it's both. It's both, definitely. And on top of that, you know, no kid left behind, so we have to give everyone the same stuff. Yeah, that's a huge problem. And with that, we are at the end of this video. If you liked it, give it a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. Until next time, bye bye. Boy, my throat is all dry. Boy. Okay, I think I have a problem. Okay, yeah, problem. I talk too much. Oh my god, the streamer talked too much. Yeah, my throat is not liking this. On top of the heat. So yeah, today short stream. We're gonna stream tomorrow again. No idea what we're gonna do. Most likely something relaxed because we have done enough reacts. This is content for ages. And tomorrow we're gonna, I don't know, play a game, I guess. Yeah, sounds good, right? Speaky heart. Speaky heart. Mino wants speaky. Because speaky hurty throaty. And while we are at throats, I have to get into contact with someone. Okay. If you liked today's stream, follow, like, subscribe, depending on where you are. Twitch, YouTube, Rumble, and I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow, I guess. Or next week, you know, whenever. Whenever you have time to watch. Ow. Oh, great back pain, great. The old man has back pain. Okay. Stream is over. It was nice seeing you guys. It was nice having you here. Oh, Jesus. And yeah, I need to... I have to give my throat a pause. And that's what she said when I'm done with her. And yeah. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. See you next time. Bye bye. Bye bye Rumble. Bye bye YouTube. See you guys. Wait, why did I not see you? Wait. Did I? Oh, wait, no, okay. I just thought, why didn't I see all the messages in my OBS? But I did, okay. Oh, Jesus, okay. See you, YouTube. Have a nice one. A good morning, day, evening, night, wherever you are. You know, the usual. Bye bye.